Hey everybody, it's me, Melody. Welcome to my stream. If you haven't already, please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. So today we have one of my favorite content creators. She's not here right now. We're just waiting for her. But yeah, she's one of my favorite content creators. She's beautiful. She's feminine. She has a lot of feminine energy with her. Every time I see her, she's always smiling. Um, So I'm sure you guys know who it is from the title. So I'm going to say it again. Chantelle Simone. I'm just waiting for her to come up and we can get it started. But in the meantime, I'm going to say hi to the chat. Hi, Lando Carison. Welcome. Good to see you. Hi, Bandit. See who else we have here. Hi, Stoic One. Hi, Deacon Dave. Exactly, and she has a beautiful accent as well. But yeah, we all know that already. Hi, Trini and Ados. Welcome. And hi, Sir Abadayu. Welcome to my stream. So I'm just waiting for Chantel to show up and we can get started. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Sorry about that, y'all. My dog kept crying and scratching me. And I know he don't have to go outside because I just let him in. So, yeah. But anyway, let me finish saying hi to everybody. We got Aaron B. Hi, Aaron B. Welcome. We have Sean. Let me see if I can say your name. Don't be mad at me if I butcher it. Sean or Diakor? Did I say it correctly? Sean or Diakor? Tell me yes if I said it right. We got Willie Beeman. Hi, Willie. He says, good evening, Melody, and shout out to all the folks here. Thank you. Thank you. JD Cotto. Hi. He says, it's good to be here. Chantel is dope. Yes, she is. And that's why I'm happy and excited for this interview. Because like I said, she is one of my favorites. She is dope. And I agree with a lot of her talking points, if not all. So yeah, definitely. Hi, number 16. Welcome. You see who else? I said hi to you already. Said hey to you already. Eisen, no, he's not hungry. I just cooked him something to eat. I made him some rice, chicken, and I put that over his kibble. So he's definitely not hungry. Definitely not. But yeah. Oops, let me go back down to my comments. Yeah, he's definitely not hungry. Okay, so I think that's about it. Let me see. Oh, she has? She been on your channel a few times? What did you do, a one-on-one with her, or she just came through? Hi, Deacon Dave. Welcome. Okay. Yes, kibble. My dog eats kibble. I put like the rice, the chicken, and the gravy on his kibble, and he loves it. That's the only way he'll eat it. But sometimes I don't even give him kibble. Sometimes I'll just give him like meat and rice by itself, and I might cut up like some carrots and give him a good meal because he don't like dog food at all. So yeah, kibble. All right, let's get started. It looks like Chantel is here. Hi,
Hey
Chantel.
guys.
Hey,
Hey
you
Mel.
look beautiful.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, so wow, you look amazing.
Oh, thank
Okay,
you.
so you're welcome. So, real quick, for those who don't know, can you tell us a little about yourself, like where you're from and everything like that?
Of course. Well, originally I'm from Jamaica. Well, let me start. I'm Chantelle Simone. I have a YouTube channel that basically I try to brainstorm ways of how I can become better at dating and relationship, and I use my channel to talk about stuff that I didn't know when I was young. That when I was younger, in a relationship advice, things from men's perspective, and just ways of how I can be better, becoming the best version of myself. So I use my channel to explore ways of how we can become better as Black women. We can become better at dating and relationships. I am originally from Jamaica, so that's where my accent is from. I was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica, and then I moved to Florida at 15. I stayed in Florida for about probably 14, 13 years, and then I relocated to Dallas, Texas. That's where I currently am.
Nice. Okay, so like, what are some of your what are some of your hobbies?
My hobbies, I am
Hmm.
a personal trainer at night and on the weekends. So I really love working out. That would be my hobby. Weight training, cardio. I think my mic is off. Let me adjust my.
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay,
I'm good.
sorry.
Yeah, good.
um, so my hobbies, I would say working out. I love working out. I love brainstorming new routines. As I say, I'm a personal trainer and I specialize in group training. So like group
Mhm.
training boot camp style. So I love writing routines and brainstorming routines. I also like hitting max in terms of my deadlift max and my squat max. I haven't bench pressed in a while, but I used to.
I need
Haven't
to.
worked on your body in a minute.
Yeah.
But and in terms of other hobbies, I like hanging out with people I love, people that I'm close to. Um, I do that as often as I can. I'm really close to my sister, really close to my cousins. So as often as I can, I hang out with them.
Right.
Um, and I like doing new things. I would say I'm adventurous. Like going new places, exploring new things. I like traveling. I like solo traveling. I've been to Europe a couple
Nice.
times by myself.
By
Um,
yourself? Oh my
yeah, by
God.
myself.
I
I went
can't
to
do it.
Rome. I went to Rome and Spain by myself once. It was so nerve wracking, but when you're in it, you forgot
Mhm.
why you were so nervous. So I
Right.
like that feeling of
Well, did you meet new people there?
yeah, of course. Adding people on my social media is super cool because now I have people who I know personally on my social media from like Paris and Rome, which that's pretty cool. Even though, of course, like we probably don't talk as often, and they're just there to be there, but that's somebody I met in real life that is
Right.
in Paris. Yeah,
That's so cool.
I think that's all my hobbies.
I mean, no, I mean that sounds good. I mean, have you been other places besides there? Europe?
Yeah, I've been to most of the Caribbean countries. I've been to Curacao is the best place I've ever been. I mean, of course, Jamaica is, Jamaica, Jamaica,
Yeah.
royal. But Curacao is like top five. I've been to Aruba. I've been to Haiti. I went to Haiti with my church on a mission trip. Been to Puerto
Mhm.
Rico. Been to Dominican Republic. Yeah, I've been to a couple places outside of Europe.
Nice. Okay, well, let's get started.
Mhm.
What brought you to YouTube?
So originally when I started YouTube, if you guys go back on my like first videos, it was about my personal training certification, how to pass the NASAM, and just giving tips on that. And then I started doing some workout videos. And I got into this space, I guess you say the manosphere topic when I started doing manifestations and law of attraction videos and just brainstorming how to, as I said, I'm obsessed with becoming the best version of myself in every aspect. And
Right.
I read The Secret and I watched the movie, and I was learning about how if you if you're positive enough and if you believe you can do something, um you will accomplish it. What's the difference between a Kobe Bryant and someone who is as good as him but was not successful? It's
Right.
the mindset. So I was obsessed with like, oh, how your mindset work and how your mindset can get you to accomplish your goals. But then I noticed that in all the other aspects of my life, I was being successful. I was using the law of attraction. I was, doing my spiritual stuff and
Mhm.
accomplishing everything in other aspects of my life except for my relationship. I was still getting my undesired relationship patterns. I was still getting I don't know if you know the term same guy different face, where you
Right.
date the same guy over and over, but it's just a different, you date the same characteristics over and over, but it's just a different guy.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I've been through that. I know what you
yeah.
mean.
Whereas like your ex and your most recent ex and your first ex has similar characteristics. Like that can't be a coincidence. So
Right.
like I started brainstorming stuff like that. And a lot of people don't know, but I actually wrote a book. It's not published yet. I don't know why I've been delaying that.
Yeah,
Um,
like what's going on?
yeah. I wrote a book on that topic of again becoming better at dating and relationships and just figuring out how our subconscious mind and our subconscious programming, so like things that we went through when we were younger, things that we witnessed in our parents relationships, how
Mhm.
those things influence our relationship patterns. And
Mhm.
in writing, I was doing a bunch of interviews with women who just would not take accountability. Like I probably interviewed like 35 women, and one of the questions was, how did you mess up in your relationship, or what could you have done differently? And they all, except for probably like two, found a way to blame the guy, all their
Of
exes.
course.
Yeah. And it's
Of
like
course.
it's like you're the only common denominator in your relationship. What are the chances that all your exes have the same pattern? And
Mhm.
even then, why not self reflect and say, okay, why am I dating? Why am I drawn to these kind of men?
Right.
So um it was in the pandemic when I don't want your this to get flagged, but the cough, what we going through hit.
Yes.
And and I was like, I was watching some content and in writing the book. And then I started watching. I was always been a big fan of the Roommate podcast, and Kevin Samuels went on the Roommate podcast. And
Mhm.
um just being, when YouTube suggests videos to you, and his topics were so attention grabbing, for lack of better words, that's when
Right.
I started like really transferring the content that's in my book onto
Mhm.
YouTube. So that's when the switch came from talking about the law of attraction and manifestation to dating and relationships.
Right. So pretty much Kevin Samuels was like your inspiration.
Yes, kind of, because I
Kind of.
mean, he, of course, we all know he can be extremely harsh. You know how he
Mhm.
says certain things, and then to always see women come on and say, "Oh, he hates black women," or he's this, or he's bashing black women. Um, I'm hoping when I started, it was with hopes to kind of say what he's saying, but with a different tone, in hoping
Right.
that women would listen. They would be open to listen.
Exactly. Because he's doing a good job, but so are you. Like, I
Yeah.
love your content. I love when you come on. Sometimes I'm in a cloud, so that's why I'm not saying anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's guys, make sure you check her out. And to my mods, make sure you're dropping her channel in my chat because I need everybody to subscribe to her because she has some really good content.
Thank
But
you.
you're welcome. But for those who don't know, how old were you when you realized you and other black women needed to change their ways and become more feminine and submissive?
I was okay. So at 25, I decided to get out of my relationship that a lot of women will consider toxic without putting
Mhm.
accountability on themselves. I was one of those women too who were like, oh, this relationship is toxic. I need to get out. Which it was, but that's when I started brainstorming. That's when I started noticing my pattern, that this ex is similar to that ex, and that ex was similar to that ex.
Right.
I didn't know the term. I didn't know it was called femininity. I didn't know it was called submission. Like I didn't know because I didn't grow up on it. And
Mhm.
like many women of color, we are just in an echo chamber. So if one woman say, don't submit to your man because this is bad, submitting is bad, you're his doormat, then you adopt that mindset. So
Right.
I didn't know that, okay, I needed to submit to a man, or I needed to, at age 25. It wasn't until coming across content like the manosphere, that's when I was like, oh, that terminology belongs to what I'm trying to do. But I would say it was probably age 25 when I started brainstorming, why do I keep on going, having these undesirable dating patterns? Why do I keep on having, like, dating certain men? I would say age
Yeah.
25 is when it hit, because also age 25 is when I went back to school to get my master's degree. And it's so funny because I know Kevin Samuels talks about this too, like when black women are confused about relationship, they decide to just go back to school. So
Yeah.
I followed that exact path that he talks about. I was curious about not repeating the patterns that I saw the woman in my family had, but I
Hmm.
didn't know how to not do it.
Right. So, once you started realizing it, did you realize it in school when you went back to school?
Oh no, definitely not.
No. Okay. When did you like? When did it come across to you that, listen, I got to start being submissive?
Mm, so okay, that was probably, I was probably like 27. I was probably 27 when I dated a guy that I actually liked, and that didn't work out. Because my previous relationships, I could always put it off on, like, oh, well, they're lacking in this area, or they don't do that. And I've shared on Game Changers channel how, like, my ex would live at my apartment and not contribute to a bill, or would drive my car and not put gas in it. So I could justify that those men weren't sugar honey iced tea anyways. That's why the
Right.
relationship didn't work. But then when I dated a guy who had his stuff together, who was one of the high value men, that the term that's going around, and
Hmm.
that relationship still didn't work, I had to really look in the mirror and say, okay, I have to learn how to work with one of these men. um I can attract them, but can I keep them? And that's when I started brainstorming, okay, I shout out to Game Changer, make him a sandwich, or
Right. Yeah.
or shut up, and don't be as combative. Don't try to argue every minute. That's, I would say, probably age 27 is when it actually hit, that I have to do something, put forth something, change my actions some way, somehow, in order to make relationships work with the kind of men that I want.
Right. And then when you did it, you seen, hey, this is working for me. I'm
Mhm.
cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm catering to him. This is working.
And not only that, but I realized that, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what brings me joy. Um,
Hmm.
going back to school and getting my master's and moving up in my company and feeling proud. That didn't really bring me joy, because it was always like, okay, what else? What next? But being able to prepare a salmon or a steak for my man, that actually says, like, yeah, that
Yeah.
brings me real joy. And if a lot of women would admit that, and acknowledge that that doesn't make you weak, wanting to be catering to your family, wanting to cater to your man, doesn't
Hmm.
make you weak, then I think we would start seeing better relationships and more two-parent households.
Exactly. So, how often do you get called a pick me for
Oh,
the way
girl.
that you think, and showing your appreciation for men? Because, I mean, I know it happens a lot.
Yeah, that term "pick me" is just like, at first I was a little like, and I've grown a lot too in the, I want to say it's a year, because my channel actually grew a lot when I got onto Danika's platform, and I did an
Mhm.
interview with her, and then Game Changer invited me over to his platform, and that's when I really actually started, like, getting in. um I would say I grew a lot as a person
Mhm.
within that year, because like, before last year, I would see a pick me comment and I'll be like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. How dare you? I'm not, like be going back and forth in the comment. No, it's just
Right.
like, who wouldn't want to be a pick me if you think about it? Like, so I've
Mm-hmm.
grown a lot in terms of like just brushing that off and knowing that if my intentions are pure. I'm not coming onto YouTube to talk crap about anyone. I'm not coming on to always say not to bash, shame, insult, not coming on to criticize, but to have the honest, true, hardcore conversations.
Right.
If you feel offended based on these conversations, if these conversations that I'm having offend you to the point where you want to call me names, where you want to try to degrade me and shame me, then that's on you. That's a personal problem. So I don't even let the term pick me influence me in any way. And I mean,
Exactly. Pick
who
me
just
is
want
a
to
good thing. Exactly.
yeah.
Good thing. I love being a pick me. So hey.
Exactly. And I mean, going back to when I said, if it makes me feel fulfilled when I can cater to my man, it makes me feel
Right.
fulfilled in that role. So yes, I will probably be a pick me because then I have the opportunity, like once I'm picked, I have an opportunity to do what I feel personally. I feel that God created me to do, which is to cater to my man, to teach my children, to take care of my household.
Right. Exactly. Do your woman duties. Be a helpmate to your
Exactly.
wife. Right.
Exactly.
Right. So,
Exactly.
who do you get the most pushback from, men or women?
I get the most pushback from women, but I do get some pushback from men. I think it hurts more when I get pushback from men because it's just like I'm sitting here trying to understand y'all, and here goes some of these really extreme RP men who are like, oh, chameleon, oh, this one comment that really stood out to me. You know, the negative comments you remember the most,
Right.
unfortunately. But one comment, I had commented something, and it was just basically saying, how I appreciate some of these contents, even though the the delivery and the tone might be harsh. Sometimes you gotta pause the video and kind of like take a sip of water and then come back to it. But
Hmm.
I do appreciate the harsh truth. And a guy commented and was like, "Oh, I feel sorry for your man. You're manipulating him because you're over here just to find this information, just to be good to him, and then eventually you will hurt him." And I mean, as I said earlier, I love the people who I love. I chose to be on YouTube. They didn't. So to
Right.
come and throw shade at me is one thing, but then to also come and show shade at my man, saying like, "Oh, he's dumb. He's being manipulated by you." It's like that's different. So
It's just
to
shame
hear,
tactics.
yeah, it's just so to hear a man say something like that, like, wouldn't you feel happy to see women actually over here trying to learn, trying to understand you guys, as opposed to trying to shame them for being over here?
Right.
Um, and shout out to MTR. He did a video on it a couple weeks ago where these extreme RP men who take it so far where a woman can't even sneeze in the comment without y'all saying like, you're over here to get whatever, you're over your chameleon or whatever. It's
Right.
unfortunate, but as I said, if my intentions are pure, um it's like I know that I am here to learn so I can teach my daughters better, and I can have more to contribute to having more two-parent households in the Black community. So it really doesn't matter what these comments want to say.
Exactly, because we learn a lot from the men. We're
Hmm.
not here trying to manipulate them, or we're not trying to steal anything from them. We just want to spread the word too. And what some of these men don't realize is that a woman saying it can get to another woman better.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why these men are like that over here, but yeah, don't pay attention to it. It's just negative.
Yeah.
All right. So, is Jamaican culture similar to Black American culture?
Um, it depends on what aspect of it. It's similar in terms of, we all have similar history, being descendant of slaves, coming over, not having our personal identity kind of like we have been given an identity. um
Mhm.
so it's similar in that sense, in terms of we're trying to figure it out too. Our men were taken from us um when we were slaves. We were beaten too. um but in terms of how, and I mean, like, I can't even say, I think it's just different in terms of we have our combative woman, we have our aggressive woman, we have it. And that bothers me sometimes when someone will come on my video and say, like, oh, she thinks like that because she's Jamaican.
Right.
When I was raised in Jamaica, I was raised to not depend on a man, to not tell a man how much you make, to not love a man more than he loves you. Those were things that I was raised on. So I was raised with the same programming that a lot of these African American women were raised on. So it's different in terms of, obviously, culture is different, how we do certain things are different, but in terms of the mindset is the same dysfunctional mindset that we have.
Right. And people think it's just an American thing, but it's really a worldwide thing with Black
Hmm.
people, you know.
Hmm.
So I'm glad you were able to clear that up.
Hmm.
So
Because I know a lot of guys are like, oh, this is why I'm going to get my passport and move. But I mean, I know, shade to my Jamaican women, they can be a handful sometimes. Like, most of my friends are Jamaicans, and I don't discuss my YouTube channel with them.
oh no, they will pick
Yeah,
you apart.
yeah, yeah. I don't even, like, the topic comes up and I'm like, huh, next. Like, I
Right.
don't. Yeah.
It's the same with me though. Like my Jamaican friends, their moms, they don't take no. They tell them you don't need no man for nothing.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
just like
Hmm.
Black American moms, it's the same thing.
Hmm.
It's really
Hmm.
not a big
They're like,
difference.
they're very, I mean, no shade to Jamaicans, but some of our women, they're so aggressive. They talk down, they belittle men, like, and then because of when a Jamaican curse you out, it cuts deep, it hurts.
Yeah,
It hurts. So, like, sometimes
exactly.
our men take as much heat as American men do.
Yeah, facts. It's just a Black thing. That's
Hmm.
all. So I'm gonna read the super chat. Thank you, Al Nixon, for that super chat. He says, "Hey Chantelle Simone, love her energy. You know I got love for you too, Melody Jersey. Thank you. We appreciate you."
Thanks, El Nixon.
So I'm sorry. Give me a second. So most Black women lead with their independence and feel all they need to bring to the table is a degree. What
Hmm.
advice would you give to those ladies?
I would say something that I have learned. I was one of those women who are like, he should want me because I'm educated and I have my degree and I have a good job and I pay all my bills. Um, to just understand what men want. Because as I said earlier, we're in an echo chamber. And the media is run by women, our perspective. These women talk shows, it's our perspective, it's what women think. No one has ever stopped to think like, what do men want? And then not only that, but what does the man that you want?
Right.
Um, so you might be proud of your degrees, you might be proud of the fact that you move up in your company, but when you bring it to the dating market, is that even anything to sit on? Um, so I mean, I'm not saying bury your degree. I'm not saying, oh, don't be proud of your accomplishments. Especially like myself being an immigrant. My parents had to do whatever they had to do to get us in this country. My upbringing
Mhm.
wasn't the best. So to see that I'm able to come here and move up and get a master's degree is a big deal. And I would never say that I'm not proud of it, because I'm pretty sure my parents are extremely proud of it. But I'm not going to bring that on the dating market anymore and say, hey, these are my qualifications with dating, because a degree does not teach you how to cook, clean, wash, take care of your kids. It does
Exactly.
not at all.
So,
Um, and then also, if you factor it in, if the man has his degree, and let's be 100, we want a man that can provide, we want a man that can protect. Showing him you can provide and protect is not is not wise, because then what would be the
yeah,
point of him?
exactly. To me, that's masculine. You just need to fall back and just be
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
feminine and let him lead. You
mm-hmm,
don't have to lead with your degree, right? So,
mm-hmm. I think a lot of times we try to match what we want. So if I want a man who's going to provide and protect, I try to show him, hey, I can provide and protect. Where
right,
and that's a disconnect. We need to figure out what he wants, what the men that we want.
exactly. I do agree with that. A lot of women just need to fall back. Somebody said, masculine women get feminine men. I think it was you. I think I
Yeah,
heard you say that before. Yeah, and that's true. When
yeah.
when you're masculine, he's not going to want to lead. He's just going to be feminine. So,
Yeah, because opposites attract, you're going to attract who and what you are. And if you think about it as your yin to your yang, if you're in your masculine energy, you're going to attract the feminine. But these masculine women want a masculine man. And like, even if you think about it logically, that doesn't work. You cannot have two chefs in the kitchen. Y'all will be going at it. Like, he wants to go left, you want to go right. That's just too much
it,
combativeness.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so do you feel that black women have more masculine energy than other women do?
I do, but then you have to factor in our past. You have to factor in
Mhm.
the fact that we were slaves, and then all of a sudden we got freed and got pushed out there and say, "Hey, figure it out."
Right.
Um, you know, our programming was, and the mind is a powerful thing, and we gotta acknowledge that. For years we were slaves. For years we were properties.
Hmm.
um our men were taken from us. We as black women were left to figure things out on our own, and then all of a sudden we're freed, and they're like, oh, go out there, learn to work together, learn to do things. It's like there's no cheat code, there's no book written. And if we really sit and think about it, many of our grandparents were slaves. It's just
Right.
the other day. It's not something that happened years and years ago. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna ask you a question, but go ahead. He was talking.
Yeah, I think we are masculine, but I think you have to be fair, you have to factor in the reason why. However, we cannot continue to be a victim. We cannot continue
Hmm.
to sit in our excuses and say, well, this happened to me, that's why I'm like that. I push becoming the best version of yourself. I push brainstorming. I hate when people blame the victim card. And
Right.
I find that too many black women like to say, like, oh, we're black women and we already been through enough, we already been through a
Oh,
lot.
I can't stand that. Oh my
I hate
God.
that. I hate that.
Exactly. But do you think we can learn or we should learn from other races of women, like take parts of their culture and try to learn from them?
Most definitely. That's the only way you learn. What we're gonna do is sit with our culture and repeat the same undesirable patterns.
Right.
That's how you learn. I know people get a lot of pushback when someone from outside their culture will come and try to criticize or try to give pointers or tips, because
Mhm.
it's a pride thing. But if you're not getting your desired results and somebody can come and say, hey, this is how we do it here, maybe try this here, at least try it to see if it works. If it doesn't work, then move on. But it comes back down to wanting to be a victim, comes back down to wanting to hold on to the victim card so tight that we're not even open to getting feedback from someone else.
Right. Exactly. Well, okay, let's flip it. Do you think the men can also learn from other cultures of men? Because black men aren't perfect either.
Mhm, mhm. And it goes both ways. Both black men and black women need work. I'm not saying that black men are perfect and black women are the only ones that need to become better at dating and learn how to work with our counterparts. However,
Mhm.
for too long, it's just been on, this is what black men need to do, this is what black men need to do, and no energy has been given to what black women need to do.
Right.
If you're genuine with it and if you really want to learn how to be better, you will go seek the information on how to be better. If you want to stay a victim, then you're just going to stay a victim. But yeah, definitely, both black men and black women can, everybody, every race, every culture can improve. No one is perfect, but we focus on the minorities over here. So yeah, I think it goes both ways.
Right, we have Sister George in the chat. She said, I don't think we should. When we open up the panel, Sister George, you should come up and explain why we shouldn't learn from other races. Do you mind if I'll open up the panel
No,
afterwards?
yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna read the super chat. Thank you, Game Changer. He says, my favorite pygmies. Thank
Thank you.
you. Appreciate that. So, okay. So black women tend to want black men to take them as they are. They want them to take them obese, out of shape, wearing bonnets, PJs outside, crazy weaves, bad hygienes. And like being that you were a personal trainer or you are a personal trainer, what are your thoughts on that?
Again, it comes back down to becoming the best version of yourself. To some, a lot of the pushback that black men would get, or us pick me's would get, well, it would be like, oh, we don't do it for the men, we do it for ourselves. So if we're not trying to impress anybody, if we're wearing those lashes, Batman lashes, or if you're wearing a bonnet outside,
Right.
we're not doing it to impress anybody, we're doing it because we feel good. But it's like, okay, um aren't you trying to be in a relationship with these men anyways? Aren't you trying to want these men, because we complain that these men aren't stepping up and not providing and not protecting us. If you want the men to provide and protect for you, wouldn't you want to become what these men are attracted to? One.
Exactly.
Two, it's not hurting you if somebody says, hey, this might be tacky, or this might be detrimental, or this, you probably do this way. It doesn't hurt. Appearance matter at the end of the day. We live in a culture now where it's like, don't judge a book by the cover, and be how you are, be comfortable how you are. To some extent, yes. However, we still live in a world with other people, with other culture. So perception matters and appearance matter. We can't expect other people to just accept us how we are when they themselves have their own standards, their own expectations. It's not
Right.
universal. So, and I say this all the time. I say this, racism isn't really big in Jamaica. Classism is, but majority, we do have some white Jamaicans and some Asians and Hispanic Jamaicans, but racism isn't as big. I experienced my first racist experience when I moved here from a black woman. She,
Wow. What
yeah.
happened?
I was working at Ross at the time, and Ross has a limit of how many items you can bring in, and that item, it's 8, a limit. And she had 8 three-piece suits. So she thought it was, if she didn't know it was per item, so like it was items the limit. She thought it was because she had 8 three-piece suits. And I told her, ma'am, you can't come in there. And then she was like, she pulled the race card. She was like, oh, it's because I'm black, I can't come in there. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm black too. So it's like, it's kind of
Yeah.
like pulling the victim card. And
Understand
it's
that.
to the point where it's like, we just draw those cards. So going back to your point where, if the bonnet isn't acceptable, we turn the card where, oh, it's whatever black women do is, y'all criticize everything that black women does. It's like, no, not necessarily. Going back to the lady at Ross, it's company policy, only 8 items. It has nothing to do with your color. It has nothing to do with the fact that you are black. It's just what it is. And then we even see the situation with Sha'Carri Richardson, the track star, how her attitude was awful, how she was acting to the Jamaicans was awful, unacceptable. But instead of saying like, yeah, she was being a little unreasonable, we want to say, oh, it's because she's a black woman. We can't continue to pull that card.
Exactly.
We block ever improving if we walk around like that with that mindset.
Yeah, it's just that black women are so entitled for some reason. And I don't know why. Like, why do you think black women are so entitled to everything?
Well, the pain and the trauma that we went through, we were told, we're queens, and it's good to some point, because we're trying to do positive reassurance, we're trying to feed back into us, give us some positivity, because we've been through so much. We've been raped, we've been assaulted, we've been, as slaves, we were treated at the bottom, which is true. So for years we were trying to feed back into our Black girls or Black women that you are strong, you are queens, you're goddesses, you matter. But I think it's gotten to the point where it's now, okay, you are the Black woman, you are above everybody else, no one should
You
talk
are
to you.
the queen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's at the opposite extreme now, where it's detrimental, because I mean the entitlement, the just how we move most of the time. It's like I it's like, how dare you say anything to me? I'm a Black woman. I do nothing
Right.
wrong. And of course, it's not all Black women. And, sometimes maybe we're not even aware of this behavior, but other races see it, other cultures see it. Um, yeah, and it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. And then we have the body positivity thing going on where you got Lizzo telling women they can be fat if they want to, they can do what they want to do, they can be what they want to be. What's your take on that?
Girl, I don't even entertain people when they.
I
It's
know
so
the answer already, but
because I was in a group chat the other day, and we were talking about someone posting my video. I wasn't sure if he knew I was in the chat when he posted one of my videos about a fat woman is equivalent to a broke man. And he was like, "Oh, I disagree with this. This is so black and white. This is," and like, it's like, okay, I'm here, but okay, so we had a conversation, and I was like, the simple fact that Lizzo represents body positivity, when there's nothing positive about being 5'8", 300 pounds at
at
all.
all.
And like the people in the group were like, "Oh, well, not because she is 300 pounds doesn't mean she isn't healthy. She dances, she performs, she's obviously healthy and she's fit." And I'm like, okay, so if you
What can you say? They're not going to listen anyway.
yeah, like, why would I even participate? If you are going to tell me that you don't even have to be a fitness or a doctor or anything to know that 300 pounds at 5'8" is not healthy.
At all.
Um, why would you even participate with that? But the media is pushing Lizzo. People are hyping her up. People are saying, I love her confidence. I love this. I love that. When, come on, we know that chronic diseases, being overweight is contributes to that. It feeds into that. And then not only that, but you being 300 pounds and if there's an emergency and we like the world is ending, we all gotta save ourselves. You inconvenient the rest of us, because then we have to try and carry you because you're 300 pounds, you can't walk up a flight of stairs.
Right, exactly. And she's crying every chance she gets because it's not confident. She's obviously insecure.
Exactly. And we all have our insecurities. We all look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I wish my body was like this. I wish my body." We all have it. We're human. Let's be 100% real. However, to push your fake confidence on young women who look up to you, to say like, "Oh,
Right.
well," who are easily influenced, and to say, "Hey, if Lisa does it, then," and she's, her fake confidence, then I'm okay at my 300 pounds. I'm gonna love, and I'm not saying fat people shouldn't love themselves. I'm not saying you shouldn't embrace yourself. What I'm saying is, while you're loving yourself, work on becoming the best health you can be. Work on becoming the best version of yourself. I think we live.
Obviously, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Obviously, they don't love themselves because they're not taking care of their body. So I don't think they love themselves. You know?
One can argue that too. I mean, being allowing yourself to get to that weight is definitely a sign of self hate, because I've never met, and someone left this comment on one of my videos. You never met obese or overweight woman who is not trying to lose weight. She would like to say like, "Oh, I love my curve, I love my thickness," but at the end of the day, she over here googling how can I lose 15 pounds in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
To
And
be honest.
crying, complaining, and
Mhm,
dieting. You know she
mhm,
don't want to be that big. Knock it off.
and calling skinny girls skinny bitches, money.
Right. Because
Yeah,
she's jealous. Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah. obviously don't love themselves. But
Mhm.
I'm going to read this super chat from DJ Nav. Thank you, DJ Nav. He says, bonnets outside equals I didn't wash my ass today and take the time to put myself together because I'm lazy. I do agree with that.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I try to kind of like not. I always say I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. Do you do whatever makes you happy? But at the end of the day, like take the consequences too. And as he says, like the rest of us are looking at you like you came outside in your pajamas.
And it looks bad because honestly, I don't see other races of women do it as much as I see black women. Like when I take my nephew to school, all I see is black women in bonnets and slippers and pajamas. And I'm like, ew, really? You really got out the car this morning looking like this? You don't care about yourself. Like, I can't even go to the store in the morning without brushing my hair back in a ponytail and putting on some earrings. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's like you don't care about your appearance. And I remember growing up, my grandma would always say, like, wear the best underwear you can because anything can happen. And if you get in an accident and they have to take you to the emergency room, you want to make sure you have on proper underwear. Like I was raised like that to step outside the best way I can, like, as presentable as possible. So it's really concerning to see how many of our black women are just okay with looking just anyhow.
and not only looking anyhow, but smelling anyhow. I mean, a lot of black women's hygiene is awful,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not to bash and shame or anything, but I mean, if we don't have these conversations, we're just going to continue with the pattern.
Exactly. So I got another super chat from Leo Anthony. He says, salute ladies to my two favorite feminine pygmies. Great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the only time that I will actually wear a bonnet outside if it's pouring down raining, I just got my hair done and I have an umbrella and I'm running to my car. I might throw on a bonnet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not wearing it outside for everybody to see. Like
Mm-mm.
that's just
Mm-mm.
tacky,
Mm-hmm.
you
And they're
know?
proudly wearing it to the stores, wearing it to the Walmarts, and it's just like, but
Yeah.
hey,
I mean, what can you say, right?
yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna move on to the next question. Okay. Oh, so in the black community, there are a lot of single older women competing with younger women for love. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's because the older woman follow the steps of, oh, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I'm on my own, and then they get to an age where they're like, yo, I really like you need a man. Like I was
Right.
not fortunate is not the word, but life hit me early. My mom passed away. A few close family member passed away, and I had to
Mhm.
watch them go through life, them die alone, and making the hard decision, making those tough decisions by themselves. And I
Right.
realized like that's not what I want. So I think like a lot of those older women, they're at that point where they're like, I don't want to do this by myself. I don't want to do life by myself. But instead of admitting it, they would just rather tell the younger woman, it's like, yeah, these, repeat the same talking points that they had.
Right. So they
So they
could be
get
miserable
the,
too. Right.
yeah, which is unfortunate because I'm 30 and I'm telling my cousins who are 20, 22 to, hey, don't do this and don't do that. And make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes that I did. You would think that those older women would want us to look out for the younger girls.
Right. But it's like the jealousy and envy is real because they
Yeah.
look at it as a reflection of them when they were young and they're like, you know what? No.
Mm-hmm.
And they really get jealous when the older men pursue us. They
Mm-hmm.
hate that
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, they're like, well, we should be with that man. Why should they
Yeah.
have an older man take care of
Yeah.
them, you know?
And like they will shame the men for saying, oh, you can't handle a woman your own age. And that whole, oh, you can't handle a woman. Like, I know obese people say it. I know the
Mhm.
very combative masculine woman will say like, oh, it's because they can't handle us. They can't handle a big woman. That's why. To kind of
Oh, I hate
shame.
that.
Yeah. To kind of shame the men for having their preferences, to kind of shame the men for wanting what they want. It's kind of like you want to shame the men into staying into accepting mediocre.
Exactly. I heard them calling men pedophiles and
Mm,
creeps and weirdos. It's sad. How's he a pedophile when she's of age, when she's 18 and up? It makes no sense.
yeah. There is this one video of a girl, a thicker girl. She's calling men pedophiles because they want slim women, and it's like
Oh,
y'all would
yeah.
do anything to shame these men into accepting you overweight, fat, mediocre, and lazy. No shade.
Yeah, I mean, but it's true. I mean, we speak
It's
our
true.
minds over here, and I hear that a lot. I actually hear the women, the pink pill, and those women saying that a lot. Cynthia
Mm,
G, they're like, yeah, these men are pedophiles, and especially with the SYSBM men.
mhm,
They
mhm,
try to say, oh, you guys are traveling overseas so you can get a young woman
mhm,
and not go to jail for it. And I'm just like, these shaming tactics, they're just
mhm.
sad, you know? They'll
It
say
is. It
anything.
is. Instead, it takes less energy to just go on the treadmill and lift a couple weights. Like seriously.
Exactly. That's all you have to do. Get a personal trainer. I mean,
Exactly.
and I find working out to make you feel good. Like I used to be so tired, but when I started
Mhm,
working out and riding my bike and walking and running, I feel I have a lot of energy.
mhm.
So these big girls, they be tired and lazy, and it's disgusting.
And they don't realize that. I mean, to say this as nicely as possible, s- how you carry yourself, especially your body, your weight, it says a lot about you. Some
Right.
men look at big girls as someone who's lazy, someone who probably doesn't care about her appearance, so she probably is not caring about other things too. Which it
Mhm.
might not be true. You might, be clean.
Right.
You might not be lazy, be a hard worker, but there's no excuse to allow your body to get that weight.
At
Um,
all.
and it's unfair for you to not believe that people aren't forming assumptions based on your weight. I mean, it's just is what it is, and your weight is something you can control. So I really don't understand the pushback about
And
this.
then exactly, and a lot of them want to say body shaming, body shaming. You
Yeah.
know, and you can even get your channel taken down for stuff like
Mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's
Ridiculous.
mm-hmm.
And then I mean, I don't want to say this, and I know it's not nice, but can you imagine the smell down there coming from some of these? No, seriously, your butt is huge, your thighs are so big. I can imagine there's a smell. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
can imagine. I can imagine. I mean, even being in Texas, it's so hot. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what it's like for like, a fat woman. Like, yeah.
yes, and then some of the men are like, well, we prefer big girls. The men in the South. You're in
Hmm.
Texas, so I'm sure you see that a lot.
Hmm.
You know,
Um,
the,
I don't know. I just honestly I see it as even if it's not, say you prefer big girls, say you like how big girls look, you like how the rolls look on the body, it comes down
Mhm.
to a health issue. It comes down to your kidneys, your livers, your organs. So it's more than just looking thick and looking right in all the right places. Aren't you concerned about your woman's health?
Exactly. And what about when she gives birth to your child? She's gonna gain like 100 more pounds, and a lot of guys don't factor this in with it. Like,
Mm. And I mean, studying when I was studying my for my personal training, we look at how the fat looks around the organs, and it's just
ah,
it's just extremely disgusting. So if you see like for Lizzo, for example, how big she is. Just imagine all the fat that she has
oh my God,
internally. It's,
yucky!
it's like what?
I can't
They're going to
imagine.
like she's literally twice her size because the fat around her kidneys makes for a double kidney. It's as much as having two kidneys. So it's like in if you think about it like that, um, it's like, come on, that's not healthy.
Mm-mm. At all. And then you know what else I hate, Chantel? When they say, "Oh, it's genetic."
Oh,
No.
yeah.
So can you explain that? Because you're a trainer, so can you explain that it cannot be genetic?
I mean, it cannot. I mean, I get that. Based on how you gain weight, some people will probably gain weight more in their lower body. Some people will gain weight in their upper body. That
Mhm.
aspect of things can be genetics, but if you're fat, you're fat based on your caloric intake.
Yep.
um your genes have nothing to do with you eating more than you lose. Your metabolism is a factor, but to say, oh, I am fat, and we see the pattern where you have a fat mom, a fat grandmom, a fat daughter. It's like your whole family line, your whole family tree is overweight. It's not your genes, it's just the food that you're eating. Your priorities, what you grew up and accepted. um Honestly, it's just, as I said, it's excuses, it's victim, the playing a
Yep.
victim card. It's
Mhm.
just, it's all of that. And fat people keep people fat. Um,
Mhm.
I've had clients who would subconsciously not want to lose weight because everybody in their family is fat, and they will feel like the outsider.
Yeah, and then also, Chantel, what the fat mothers and aunties would do is shame the daughters. Oh, you need to put some meat on your bones. They used to do
Hmm.
that to me.
Hmm.
You need to
Hmm.
get you too skinny. And honestly, when I look back at my pictures, my shape was beautiful.
Hmm.
So for these
Hmm.
big older women to tell me that I need to put meat on my bones, they just wanted me
Hmm.
to be fat and unhealthy too.
Exactly. And it's the same way why they would continue pass down the dating advice that they know didn't work for them, is because misery love company. They want you to
Exactly.
be single, just like how they're single. They want to continue the pattern instead of saying, hey, I made this mistake and that's why I'm this weight. Probably try not eating as much fast food, or I made this
Mhm.
mistake, that's why I'm single. Probably try learning how to work with a man. Instead of
Right.
saying that, they want you to just be in the same boat as them.
Exactly. Or take a walk. I mean, you don't have to do much. Go walk every day. Stop jumping in your car being lazy. Go to the
Hmm.
gym.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
what do you need? You only need like what, an hour a day?
Yeah, and that's like 4% of your day. That's all it
Mhm.
takes. It's just it's crazy. I mean, I'm not saying be one of those health person who only eat green stuff and drink egg smoothies. Like, come on, that's unnecessary. You can still have your Chick-fil-A once in a while. But it's like having Chick-fil-A every day, pulling up to the fast food every day. It's like, come on,
Right.
you know.
You're not
I
working it off.
I
Mhm.
remember growing up, we would only have fast food on Fridays.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. No, like, I would not dare ask. Growing up, I would not dare ask for fast food during the week. Like, I could not even imagine asking, "Hey, can I have some KFC during the
Hmm.
week?" But now it seems as though like these kids eat it 24 hours every day a week.
Well, you know why, Chantel? Because the parents are lazy. They're not cooking for their family.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a husband there, so they're like leaving the kids with nannies, and it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And that's another thing too. I'm not saying that every fat kid um is from a single parent household. However, majority, if you look at the pattern, majority of these overweight obese kids are
Mhm.
from overweight obese moms, single moms. With a man in the household, men tend to think logically and think long term. So
Right.
men tend to say like, hey, because when men are dating you, they say, okay, say she's 150 now. She's gonna gain 50 pounds when she have my like they are thinking about that. We are not thinking about that. So he wants you to be a certain weight now. So when you have your kids, you will be okay. You won't be too fat. Um, Men think like, okay, my child shouldn't be eating this, and this because this will cause. Women are just like, okay, I'm not saying it's all, but
Most.
majority of them tend to
Exactly.
come from single parent households.
Exactly. Doesn't make any sense. And plus, these are kids. Shouldn't they be outside running and stuff? Like, why are they fat?
It's child abuse. I had the client, my last couple clients that I had in Florida, two girls, one 8 and one, I want to say 12. The 12-year-old was I'm 203 pounds, and the 8-year old was 180 pounds.
Oh
It's
my
it's 100% child abuse. And then the mom is like, oh, I don't even put snacks in the house. They're not allowed to drink juice. They're not. And I'm like, okay, so how did they get this weight then?
Right, she's lying.
She is 100% lying, because school alone
Mhm.
can't put this weight on you. And if you see your child pulling on weight based on the food that they're serving in school, aren't you concerned enough to say something?
Yeah. And you know what? You know what else too? These days you really can't have your kids outside playing.
Yeah,
And the kids don't and the parents are too lazy to go outside and watch their kids play.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they
So
just have them in front of the TV.
yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
it's
And
just
the parents just give the kids whatever they want, whatever they ask for, they get it.
spoiled. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
exactly. So I'm gonna read this super chat. Thank you, Cannon Wiles. He says, "Big them tings, a midnight flex, me lord." That was for you, Chantal. I should have let you read it. Can you read it? Read it for me,
Listen,
please.
them big things, midnight flex my lord. I'm
Yeah.
guess he's probably, he basically means, I don't know. We were probably talking about, I would have to see what we were talking about back then to get some context clues, but yeah.
We all love your accent. It's amazing. So I think he just wanted you to read that. Okay, but thanks for that, Cannon Wiles. We appreciate you. Um, I'm gonna go to the next question. There are lots of women who fake femininity. Can
Mm.
you tell the difference? Can you?
So honestly, it's tough to tell the difference. I think your true colors eventually come out. Um, if you know your intentions are pure, because okay, I was raised to be masculine. I was raised to not need a man for anything, to stand in my masculine role, and to
Right.
to not be feminine. It wasn't until I was in my mid 20s where I'm trying to learn how to be more feminine. So it's gonna be harder for me to be more feminine as opposed to a woman who was raised to be a wife, who was raised to be feminine.
Right.
It comes down to intention. In dating, I am straightforward with it. I say, hey, I'm learning how to be better. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect, but I am open to criticism. I'm open to pointing out ways of how I can be better at this specific thing, so I can be more feminine. um my goal is to pass it down to my daughters. I'm
Mhm.
not doing it because, like, I want to be feminine, but I know it doesn't stop with me.
Mhm.
So those women who are fake feminine, they're not willing to learn. They're not willing to take the criticism, and they're not willing to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, okay, um in this aspect I'm probably too masculine. Let me brainstorm how I can be better in this specific aspect.
Wait,
But instead,
so I'm
go ahead.
sorry to cut you on, my love. Go ahead, and then I'm gonna ask my question
Mhm.
because you just okay.
Instead, they're like, okay, you know what? Take me as I am. I'm feminine now, so take me as, which it does not work like that, and it sucks. It
Mhm.
sucks. Sometimes I wish I was raised to be feminine, so I wouldn't have to be putting all these work. I wouldn't have to be so conscious every minute, like thinking like, okay, to not revert back to my habits, and
Right.
trying to change my old ways and trying to change my habits. But it's a journey. It's a process of
Mhm.
becoming better. It's the pursuit of becoming the best version of yourself. You'll never get to the best version of yourself, because as you grow, you learn. Yeah.
So you think, so this is the thing. I used to think, because I'm naturally feminine, so I used to think that femininity cannot be taught. It's something that you are, but you're saying that you could be taught feminine. I mean, I said, oh, I'm sorry, I said feminism. We don't want to be taught that.
I know.
You can be taught being feminine because you learned later. So it is something you can be taught.
So how I see that, I think when God, Jah, Allah, whoever you want to believe in, created us, He created women to be more feminine and men to
Mhm.
be more masculine. With programming, with how it's kind of like a nature versus nurture thing, right? So naturally we were meant to be feminine. Naturally, as women, we're meant to step into our natural roles. But nurture, they taught us the feminist movement. They taught us not to depend on men. They taught us all these things. So it's kind of like reprogramming your mind, peeling back the layer, and going back to your natural self, if that
Right.
makes sense. So
Right.
yes, women can be naturally feminine. However, all the programming that society put on us, it's easy to go back in that way. It's kind of like, I'm left-handed. That's how I was born, being left-handed. If I wanted to change and become right-handed, it will take a lot of effort for me to not go back to my left-handed self. If
Right.
that makes sense. So say I was naturally left-handed and then I was raised to be right-handed, but sometimes like I'm trying to learn how to be like, if that makes sense. Am I making sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I'm
Okay.
with you. I love the analogy.
So like when I say like I'm learning in the process because I was raised to be so masculine. I'm learning how to go back to my natural state, but
Mhm.
sometimes I get so caught up on my habits. I get so caught up on like, okay, for 23 years, 25 years, I was told to never depend on a man, always have your own. Now all of a sudden I need to learn how to fall back and let a man lead.
Right.
I'm not going to say that comes naturally. If I was doing something one way for 25 years, there's no way that's going to come naturally. Um, so like the fake feminine woman, they will say like, okay, I'm feminine now. I'm learning to be feminine now without being willing to take the criticism,
Put in the work.
without being willing to
Right.
acknowledge like, hey, am I, if somebody points out, oh, like, you're being masculine, you're being this, you're being that, like, to willing to take a step back and say, could I work on this? Is it true?
Mhm.
Yeah, as I said, at the end of the day, unfortunately, a lot of us were raised to be masculine.
Mhm. I think
And
most Black women
mm-hmm,
were,
mm-hmm,
yeah, including me. We all were taught that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it's just that we got to learn how to go back into our natural roles. And it's tough because we didn't have an example, a real life example of what it's
Mhm.
like to be feminine. So it's going to be tough to go back in those roles. But that's where learning, books, coaches, therapy, all of that come in. As I
Mhm.
say, my goal is not necessarily for myself, but it's for my kids to change that generational patterns.
Right. Now, another question. Do you think it can be changed by spreading a word, or do you think it's kind of too late? Because a lot of the men are saying it's too late in this space. But obviously, you're trying to teach the youth.
Mhm.
So, what do you think?
I think it's probably too late for older women,
Oh,
women who aren't willing to brainstorm and get a difference. Most of the time when I do my videos, I talk to my younger self. So I talk to that 14, 15-year old who was
mhm,
entering the dating scene, who's curious how to work with men. And I talk to those girls because if someone had told me at 15, okay, you're gonna have to learn how to cook, learn how to clean, learn how to cater to a man, learn how to fall back, I wouldn't be here at 30 trying to learn it, trying to figure it out. So I talk to them. So I don't think it's too late for the younger generations. However, for the older generations who aren't genuine wanting to learn, who aren't genuinely wanting to be different, for not just to find a good man who's going to provide and protect, but to be
mhm,
different to change generational patterns. So my daughters, your daughters, your sons don't have to repeat the same pattern. I think it's very
mhm.
difficult. I wouldn't say it's too late. I just think they have to be willing to do the work, and it's not easy.
I'm with you on that. I think they're stuck in their ways. I don't think a woman 30 plus can change. You have to learn at least when you're in your 20s, I think.
I think you're gonna have to. I think it's not easy, and a woman 30 plus is gonna have to realize that it's not gonna be easy, and to be willing to do the hard work. As I said, I'm not 30 plus. You're not doing it for you. You're doing it for your kids. So you're gonna
Right.
have to know how to do the hard work and not necessarily see the results in your lifetime. It might reach your grandchildren. Your granddaughter might be the feminine, catering housewife.
Right.
Um, and I think they lose it because a lot of these women are wanting to be feminine so they can have a masculine man, but not necessarily be feminine so they are feminine.
Right. To cater to their man. They don't want to
Yeah.
cater to their man.
Hmm.
Yeah, they don't believe in that. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. So, do you think a man can tell a difference? Like, I know you said that you really can't tell a difference between fake femininity, but can a man tell?
Probably they can, because your true colors come out.
Right.
Eventually, your true colors come out. I think men can after a while. Women are good at telling men what they think they want to hear. Women
Hmm.
are good at, like, especially with the rise of the manosphere and the rise of us getting the cheat code, basically. On the if somebody say on the third day, cook for him, as a masculine woman, to turn on your masculinity and just cook for him on the third date. I think it's going to take time, though, but I do think men can tell, just based on how she says certain things, in passing, based on how she does certain things, and
Hmm.
the small things too. Um, for example, if you're dating someone and you know if you say to her, hey, I think you would look a little better if you were to lose 10 pounds,
Right.
based on how she react to that, can be an indication if she's true feminine or if she's not.
Exactly.
Because if she's true feminine, she's going to be in the gym tomorrow trying to lose the 10 pounds to look good for you. But if
Exactly.
she's not, she's going to be like, take me as I am, body positivity, team Lizzo.
Right. Exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, my mom told me, she was like, Melody, you're getting a little hefty there. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not fat, but I'm, almost 140 now. So she's like,
Mhm,
you need to like lose some of that weight. As soon as she said that, I went running, riding my
mhm,
bike. I didn't argue with
mhm,
her like, no,
mhm,
stop hating, blah, blah, blah. You know how black women
mhm,
like to say every black woman is hating that's trying to give them advice.
mhm, mhm.
But I told my mom, you know what? Thank you for that. Let me go
Yeah.
run. Let me go do what I gotta do. Get in the
Yeah.
gym.
Hmm.
Because I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be
Yeah.
hefty. That's not
Yeah.
what I want.
And as I mentioned, I had a collab with Game Changer the other day, and it's like, I don't do cardio for me. I don't like cardio. I do cardio because my man likes me at the weights I am at. And I don't want to get fat. The only way I should get fat is if I'm pregnant.
Right.
Like,
And
I don't want to get fat. I want to
no,
be attracted to my man. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I want I want to go out with him and have him be proud of. Yeah, he can look at other girls. Obviously, he's a man. He's going to look at other girls. He's going to be attracted to other girls, but he's going to be proud that his girl is also as fine as the other girls that he's seen.
exactly. Right. And it makes you, and if you are fat and ugly, it will make you more insecure because it's like, well, damn, he's going to be looking at these IG models and these slimmer women. He's not going to really want me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah, I
Mhm.
think a man is definitely going to cheat on a woman if she doesn't look physically appealing to him.
Especially if they got together and she was attractive, and then she let herself go and gain the weight. Of
Mhm.
course. And I think that is so unfair, to be in a relationship, be in a marriage with a man, and let yourself go, and then now the man is stuck with a fat wife when he didn't sign up for it.
Right. And then you bring a baby into the world. And let me ask you a question. Is it dangerous to carry when you're obese?
Of course, 100%.
Right.
Yeah, of course. It's the health risk. It's higher. Like, high risk pregnancy. It's higher as you are fat. Like, everything puts you at a risk.
Hmm.
When you're obese. But people are just trying to accept obesity as the norm, which
It's
is
sad.
like, unfortunate. So unfortunate.
It's really, really sad. And I just feel sad for our girls, our
Hmm.
young girls, and for the young boys growing up, because they're going to have to, this is their wives, this is their future wives.
Hmm.
It's just really depressing. So, yeah, it's really bad. But, let me see. I have something else for you. Let me look through my notes. Oh, so what is your take? Because in this space, they talk about colorism a lot. What is your
Mm-hmm.
take on colorism?
I try not to talk on it because it didn't really affect me much.
Mhm.
Um
Well, do you
I'm
think
not
it's an
sure.
ugly girl? I'm sorry. Do you think it's a ugly girl argument? Because it never really affected me either.
I think it's brainstorming another victim card. I think there's so many victim cards in the pack. Um, that colorism is definitely one of them. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, just like racism, just like all the isms, it
Mm-hmm.
exists. But it's like when you're at a point where you are just calling it, you're just saying, "Oh, this is it, this is that, that's it." Like for every little thing. If it's a situation where like, oh, um a guy's not attracted to you because you're masculine, or because you're loud, you're boisterous, you're gonna say, oh well, he doesn't like me because I'm dark skinned, where it's like, no, what are the other factors? So I'm not saying colorism doesn't exist.
Well, you're not dark
However,
skinned, so you probably won't experience it as much as
yeah,
a
yeah.
girl.
So I'm not, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's like, and especially being somebody who is not in it and who doesn't experience it, like I can see it as, okay, that's not it. So say I have a dark skinned friend, and she's like, oh, he doesn't like me because I'm dark skinned. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can be the outside person to see clearly, like, no, that's not it. But with her
Right.
being dark skinned, with her being involved in it, she can't see it. um
Exactly.
but I think it's the same as racism. Like even this weekend I had an experience with, I got a flat tire, and it was in a, I mean, I live in Texas, so there's a lot of redneck neighborhoods, and
Mm-hmm.
a guy came out. It was really late. It was like 10 p.m. And a white man came out and was like, "Oh my," he had his little accents, the cowboy accent, the
Mm-hmm.
redneck accent. And he was like, "Oh, oh my God, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you already call AAA?" And he was being very nice. He was like, "If you need snacks, if you need water, just come now." And then the person I was with was like, "Oh, he's probably racist." And I'm like, "What's racist about that?"
Exactly. Let me tell you what happened to me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring it back to me, but I'm gonna tell you. So I
Hmm.
was in Texas one time. I was riding cross country. I was going to California. So my car broke down and my engine went.
Hmm.
And it was the white cops came to help. They
Hmm.
were the nicest
Hmm.
people ever. And I'm like, oh my God, they're not racist.
Hmm.
Well, I'm with you on that. I really do think it's the victim card
It's a
that they're
victim part.
pulling.
And like
Definitely.
honestly, at the end of the day, if you are looking for it, you will find it. If you're looking
Mhm.
for racism, like the cop that helped you, if you were looking for racism in that cop, you would have probably said like, "Oh well, why didn't he stand to the left when he was saying that
Right.
he must be racist?" like, like,
Exactly.
like anything. So it goes back to the colorism. If you are looking for it, if you have that attached to you, if you have that, like, okay, I'm dark skinned, so people treat me differently, if you have that attached to you, if you walk around, you will find that. So yeah, I think it's a victim card. I strongly believe in working with what you have. Even going to the whole pretty privilege
I was
conversation
going to
that
get
we
into that next.
yeah. Like I think honestly, we all have our insecurities. No matter what the person looks like, they have an
Mhm.
insecurity. No matter how confident they might seem, everybody has an insecurity. But it's like you find your win. You find what works for you and work it. So even if you are not considered the prettiest person around, work for what's worked for you, and work with what works for you, and go with it. Don't just be like, oh wow, oh pretty, like what you want pretty people to dim their light, like pretty people should just be less pretty so you feel good in this world. That's not going to happen.
They do want you to dim your light. I had friends who were less attractive than me.
Hmm.
Tell me, well, you shouldn't do this. Well, you shouldn't do that. And why are you doing this? And why did you wear that to the club?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
just got a club outfit on. Well, now the guys are all up in your face. Like it's almost like they're jealous because I'm
Yeah.
getting all of the attention. And
Yeah.
it's like, if you're not pretty, there's things you can do. You can do your hair. You can lose weight, like you said, get in a gym. I mean, there's things you
Hmm.
can do.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can wear makeup if you need to. So I don't understand why ugly girls feel like they need to
I
always pull a victim
know. And
card.
you have, I mean no shade, but you have some women, it's like it seems as though they intentionally try to not be pretty. Like, you know that your face is round, why are you wearing those big glasses? Like, like you know something don't
Exactly.
work for you. Just find what works for you and find what brings out your features, and and
Mhm.
and work with it instead of trying to have the other woman dim their light so you can feel more comfortable.
It's ridiculous. And then they do mean things to you because they're jealous. Like when I was younger, since we're on a colorism and pretty privilege topic, I'm sure you heard about this, but I have naturally curly hair and it's long.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I had this girl tell me, "Hey, why don't you get a relaxer? I'll do it for you. I know how to do it." So she lived in the projects. So I went to the project, sat in between her legs, and this girl put Nair in my hair. Nair in my hair because she's jealous of my hair. Obviously, it was a dark skinned woman um, with a small ponytail, but she put Nair in my hair, and that was the worst thing I would say that ever happened to me.
Oh my god.
So yeah, these
It's
women
just so
are jealous.
unfortunate. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've experienced women who would just like be certain kind of way. And I know Game Changer says this a lot. That's why pretty people shouldn't have ugly friends. And like I'm
Mhm.
starting to realize it because they will
It's
dim your
true.
light.
Yes, especially like you're a gorgeous woman. Like you have natural hair.
Thank you.
You're beautiful and you have a nice accent. And I'm sure a lot of women in America hate on you. They don't like you. And it's
Yeah.
sad. It's really sad.
And it's just like, as I say, everybody has their insecurities. Everybody does. It doesn't matter how pretty you think someone is, they have an insecurity because we're all human and no one is perfect. So instead of hating on someone, or instead of trying to say like, oh, she accomplishes this because of how she look, just work
Mhm.
with you, do you, and become the it all come back down to becoming the best version of yourself.
That's it. Boom. There you go.
Mhm.
You said it. You said it the
Mhm.
best. You know? But let me get to these super chats. Dallas, thank you. I really appreciate that. And then we have, let me see. Oh, Leo Anthony. Leo Anthony says, "Y'all soft accents killing me softly. Continue." Oh, thank you.
I love how you read that.
Right? I had to do the soft. But thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Yeah, but it's just sad. So just continue to do you. Continue to get
Mhm.
that word out, because you're doing a great job. I'm sure
Thank
you
you.
changed a lot of women's lives. I even learned a lot from you. You, Kevin
Mhm.
Samuels, Danica, like I really do appreciate people like you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, my last question for you is, what do you have planned for the future?
um, well, in terms of on my YouTube.
Well, yeah, for your YouTube and for everything.
So for YouTube, I like doing YouTube. I like sharing what I'm learning as I'm going. You know, with growth, there are other things to learn in life. I've never done this before, and I didn't have a two-parent household with an example of how dating, relationships, marriage should be. So I think
Mhm.
as I evolve in my life, like in terms of my dating and relationship life, I'll probably have different content. Like obviously, if when I get married and have kids, I'm not going to be talking about like single girl stuff, Um,
Right.
so I imagine that can change in terms of my YouTube platform, but I'm all for, as I say, I try to keep it as genuine as possible here. I try to be solution based and not just be talking about the problems in our society or in our community, but how we can find different solutions. So in terms of the future, on my channel, it will probably still be centered around dating, relationships, those
Mhm.
topics, but as I grow in my personal life and have different paths and different experiences, it will probably change. My content will probably change. As for my personal life, I try to keep my personal life as private as possible.
Yeah,
um,
great idea. Don't put it out there.
yeah, I mean, in terms of like my dating life, my I'm not gonna ever, I wouldn't say ever open up my channel and have like my significant other on. I'm not gonna say
Oh,
never. I think that would be interesting to like
that
have
would be. I would love to see that. Oh my God. I really hope you do that because I would love that.
like a one-on-one with him.
Mhm.
That would probably be interesting, but that will probably not be anytime soon, only because, as I say, the message that I say on my channel, for some reason people don't like it, and even though I get a lot of support and I appreciate the support, the hate is still out there, and I don't want the hate to influence how I run my channel. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still human. So somebody say something negative, you can have 100 positive comments and one negative comment. That one negative comment is going to sit with you. And
Yeah,
my
I'm
it
the
is
same
right.
thing. It
Yeah,
hurts. I'll
yeah,
go to my room and cry. I'm like, why did he
yeah.
say that? Like, it really hurts my feelings, you know?
They can hurt, and it's like, dang, do you know me personally? Like, dang, like
Yeah.
um so I try to keep my personal life as possible, as private as possible, because sometimes I can be so sensitive to these negative comments.
Mhm.
And sometimes it can just be so draining. I click onto my YouTube studio app and like would read through some comments sometimes. Like sometimes it's a hit or miss, because sometimes it will be a positive comment and I'll be like, oh, but then on other times it will be a negative comment. So sometimes I'm just like, let me not even read any of the comments to
Exactly.
protect my energy. Um, but yeah, who knows? Probably it will be interesting to go into that direction of having a couple's kind of change, turning my channel into like kind of like how Danica will have her husband on sometimes.
Right. I really
Yeah.
think you should. I think you will blow up even more, you know?
We'll see. We'll see. Um, people who I like, the guy I'm dating, my boyfriend, obviously knows about my channel, obviously knows about my platform, but I try not to merge the two, just because it can be so
Yeah.
controversial.
Yeah, let's keep that separate for a while and then hit him with a banger like, boom, this is my man. This is what we're going to talk about.
I'll hit
Yeah,
you out with a wedding video when that time
definitely.
comes.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you. Well, congratulations that you're with your man. You
Mhm.
finally found somebody. And I'm gonna read the super chat, and I have a cash app. So thank you so much, Deacon Dave. I really appreciate you. He says, "Can we see what she working with?" What you mean?
Mhm.
Mm, I don't know what he mean by that, but yeah. You have anything to say about that, Chantel?
Oh no, I don't know what he means.
Yeah, you got to be more specific. You got to elaborate on that. I'll read it. But thank you for that. And I think Lil Big Nate sent something. He said, "How does she deal with American Black women hate?" Thanks for that, Lil Big Nate.
How I deal with their hate, I mean, as I said, I think it comes from lack of knowledge, because a lot of times they would say like, oh, well, you're not black, you don't know what you're talking about, or it's different. Obviously, if they had traveled anywhere, or if they had met any immigrant, or be a little bit more cultured, they will
Mhm,
know that black people, it's our race, and being
mhm,
American, being Jamaican is your nationality. So, like when I hear those comments, or hear like African American women will try to have their own little clique, and I say like, oh well, you're not included because you're not African American. It's like, okay, ooh, like am I 12? Like, so like
yeah,
I don't.
it's because of your accent, because they know you're not from here. So they're like,
Mhm.
well, how can she speak on black issues? She's not from here. Well, duh, she's black.
Yeah,
It makes no sense.
yeah, and it's like, I have lived in Jamaica for 15 years, and I've lived in America for another 15 years. So, 50-50.
Yeah,
If I'm telling you, hey, this is what I experienced in Jamaica, and then this is what I also experienced living in America, and you're going to tell me that my knowledge and my experience is irrelevant, then it shows your ignorance, because you have lived in one country all your life. I've experienced both cultures.
exactly.
Um, So like it makes no sense. Like if somebody's telling you like, oh yeah, this is how it is, somebody who has lived and experienced another culture is telling you, yeah, this is how it exactly is too, then why wouldn't you be more open and kind of like more curious to say, oh wow, it's not just an American thing? You
Mm-hmm.
know, you would think, but I
You
mean,
would think, but they're just ignorant and they're
yeah.
jealous. It's all about jealous. Shout out to Game Changer. He says Nana envy. Shout out to that.
Yeah.
But it's true that Nana envy is nothing to play with.
Hmm.
You know. But I thought I saw another super chat, but I might be wrong. So, do you mind if I open up the panel for questions?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up right now. Give me a second. Let me see if anybody else said anything. But thank you so much, little bit Big Nate, for that cash app. I do appreciate that. So I need to get a mouse. I hate the one that's built into the laptop. Okay. So I dropped the link, guys. Anybody want to come up? You're welcome to come up. Come ask her questions, but I ask that you be very respectful. That's all we want, right? Like no
Yeah.
yelling, no calling names, none of that. But I'll drop the link again. You can ask her anything you want. Just be respectful.
And keep it a little appropriate.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I love your smile. Let me
Yeah.
ask you. You have a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
Question. How do you feel about black women not smiling, always having like a sour look on their face?
You know, it's not just it's Jamaicans do it too. Um, I think it's because we were raised to have our guards up. We were raised to, be protective of our own. So not smiling, it's one way to like not engage, not have anyone think that they can just approach you. It's comes from the echo chamber. It comes from, women giving women advice. um
Mm-hmm.
we all know men like to see women smiling and being friendly and being, warm and open. So it's unfortunate that so many of us are against smiling. I was that like that too. I'm not gonna front and say like, oh, I was always smiling. I would you know give an attitude, always have a screw face on, just so men don't approach me, especially if I have a lot on my mind. But then that's like, because we're saying we want these men to protect us, but at the same time, we walk around with a screw face on. Who the hell's gonna protect somebody who looks like they want to fight all the time? Like,
Exactly. Yes, and you know what? Someone told me I smile too much.
oh yeah.
Yeah, when I used to work in retail, I used to work at Staples. It's no
Mm-hmm.
secret. And I used to have the women come up to me like, "Oh, I see these guys are over there flirting with you. It's only because you're smiling. You shouldn't smile as much." I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "But it comes natural, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you're working in retail. You have to smile."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, no, but you shouldn't smile because you're making them think that you want them. I'm like, well, I'm sorry if they feel that way, but this is just me. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
smile, you
And a
know?
smile is universal. I mean, you can go into any country and a smile means the same thing. It means you're being friendly, you're being welcoming. So to have this notion of not smiling, to be so against smiling, it says a lot about our pain and our trauma. That, and
Mhm.
especially smiling to our men, the men that look like us, our counterparts. It says a lot about our pain and our trauma that we really need to start looking into.
Right. And what about protection? Like you just brought up protection. A lot of black
Mhm.
women say black men don't protect us like other races of men protect their women.
Mhm.
Why do you think why do you think that is?
Um, so as I say, men aren't going to want to do something for you if you're constantly saying, "Oh, I don't need a man, I don't need it." Even this weekend, I witnessed a altercation between a man and a woman, and then another guy tried to jump in to like kind of
Mhm.
protect the woman, and she's like, "Oh, I don't need no man to protect me. I got this on my own."
Oh my
And it's like,
God.
okay, first of all, you cannot take another man. If you guys were supposed to start fighting, you would
Mhm.
lose. And then the other guy seeing the altercation and coming over to try and say, hey, you know, this is how you react to him, then he's not going to want to protect any black woman in the future. He's not going to want to come in to jump in. So it's like we contradict ourselves a lot of times because we complain that these men ain't doing what we would want them to do, but at the same time, we're not willing to be open to them doing it.
Exactly. And also, what's your take on black women getting in black men's face and putting their hands on black men? Do you think the black men have the right to protect themselves when a woman
Oh,
attacks them?
100%, yes.
Right.
If she want to fight you like she's, if she wants to approach you as if she's a man, then go ahead and treat her as one.
Right. You know what? I agree 100%. And I do not think that black mothers should raise black sons to tell them don't put your hand on a woman, or should raise their black daughters by saying, oh, you can hit a man if you want. That's just wrong.
I mean, I think if a woman is dumb enough to hit a man, try to take a man because in her head she thinks she's strong and she can handle it, then the consequences are the consequences.
Right.
It's fair. She wants equality, so
Right? You get manhandled.
yep.
So it is what it is. So we have two guests. We have Game Changer and we have Jay Lion. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing, Melody?
Hello.
Hey, so who came up first? I think we had GC first. What's on your mind? You have any questions for Chantel?
No questions. I was on her channel not too long ago, but I want to talk about the smile thing. I just want to compliment Chantel's smile because I said it before on my channel. She has like a, I picture her feeding a baby mushed carrots type smile. Like I do. It's like a nurturing, motherly, like oh, and the baby got the bib and stuff. I picture that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
As far as you were asking earlier, is it a race thing? I don't really, or is it because of the commonality, the history of slavery? I think that has something to do with it because and not as an excuse, but just as descendants of slaves of any type, you're going to be taught that it's bad, of course. You're going to, and so is all forms of submission that can be related to it. So it does give that little bit of apprehension, towards submission to the women that that exists. But it's two completely different forms of submission.
Right.
And then also when you pair it like movies with the color purple and
Right.
stuff like that, yeah.
And that's why I have movie night to see like this is what's being done exactly. I think you was there for when I did the color purple one, right?
Yeah, I was, and Waiting to Exhale.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I do think that it's. I don't think that it's natural, and I mean, there's anomalies, but I don't think that it's natural in any woman to actually be the way that they are. I think that it's very well something that is conditioned.
Right. So Game Changer.
Wait, Tim, listen. It's not simping, at least not as I understand the definition, but it's a very broad definition to say somebody has a nice smile. It's not.
It's just a compliment. It's being nice.
So, but what would be not simping to you? To just see a nice smile and say "fuck your smile"? Like, what would be appropriate masculine behavior to you, Tim? Come on now, think about that. Like what's going on?
I mean, he's retarded, man. He's retarded, man.
I don't get it. Like we can't do that. We can't just class. I mean, and she has a nice smile. Like I mean, so that is what it is.
So, yeah, I wouldn't even entertain that Game Changer. That guy's retarded, man.
No, he said he's just playing.
Just playing, but yeah, but you ladies were saying it earlier that you get that type of feedback when they're not playing like seriously in the chat room, and I'm like. It's really like you can't just have like permanent, hate and distrust, all the time. It's not going to help either party.
Right. Exactly. So, were you done or? You have something else to add?
Oh yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so Jay Lion, what's on your mind?
Oh yeah, I was comment on when she was saying that she wasn't black and all this type of stuff, and like that's just a bunch of ignorancy. They know that Malcolm X was like half Caribbean. Biggie Smalls was Caribbean. I think that
Jamaican. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Busta Rhymes was Caribbean too. So it's like it's in
Jamaican.
the sense, and also they had slavery in the islands too. So to say that like that's just ignorancy, and I think that even Marcus Garvey or something like that I think Malcolm X father was a follower of Mark Garvey. Mark was very popular in America. Nobody wasn't saying like, "Oh, this man is not black." You know what I'm saying? That's just pure ignorancy. And the thing is, when it comes to some Black American women, like they're jealous of other Black women from other different cultures. Like they
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man, she's not black, or she if you're like a Black Dominican, or Haitian, or you African, or West Africa, East African is always becomes a problem. So I think that they're jealous of Black women from other cultures. So that it becomes a problem. Then anytime they have a criticism of Black American culture, it's a problem, or oh, you just hate Black folks. And I think that 'cause I one time was on a comedian show, and I said something about the problem with the culture and stuff like that. And they said, well, I said, well, they it was that Lapeef Network show, whatever. And I said, well, no, what about if they had a Black woman from a different culture that was better than a Lebanese woman speak? Said, well, why does it have to be you know a Black woman from this color? Well, why you can't be just this and all this stuff. So anytime something outside to have have something a criticism about it, then it becomes a problem. Huh? So this is
Well,
what I've observed.
well, worse than that, they make a person an other based on if they follow the tenets of the existing culture. Like if
Mm-hmm.
Chantel was to say, something like, fat is all that, and bonnets is the business, then they will say, oh yeah, she's black. They actually define blackness by behavior. So once you don't meet a certain behavior that they become that they have made themselves comfortable with, then that's when they other you. That's when they say you're not black, you are
And it's
Jamaican
based,
or half
yeah,
Dominican or
yeah.
something like that.
And it's based off a stereotype most of the time too. It's based off like oh, you don't black, if you don't fit some kind of negative. It's nothing ever positive.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
always based on some bullshit. So that's why you really can't take these. You can't take them serious. The what you call it, the community, all that type of stuff. That's why I would say that it's a wrap, man.
Well,
It's
I
over.
mean, right. They will give a complete redheaded, freckled face, completely white woman a black card. They will call her black if she behaved a certain way. You know, Honey Boo Boo could be considered black if they so give her a black card, but they, are less likely to do so with Chantel or Melody, even though they are black and Ados. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's based off. It has to be a ratchet chick. Yeah, I'm like, come on. It's like, okay, I gotta have like what do you call it? I gotta have like a giant weave down to the damn ground, and blue and green color hair and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm like, man, this is like it is nails looking like
Like
some
claws.
some key like looking like some we call it some raptor dinosaur claws and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like, what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, man. I'm like,
well,
the
I mean,
culture is so bad.
oh,
I mean,
I'm
that's
sorry.
some sad shit, man. It's gotten so dysfunctional, man.
Well, the existence of people like Melody and Chantel, but more so to Chantel, is very threatening to a certain type of women. And the reason why I say more so to Chantel is because she has a boyfriend now. And what happens is her boyfriend's friends reevaluate their girlfriends based on her. Like every time she cooks, or if she's a little slimmer, where men like women to be slim, and thicker where men like women to be thick, they're going to look at their girlfriends and be like, hey, wait a minute. I got a 4.0 and this nigga got a 2.0 in high school. What's going
Right.
on? Like what he doing that I'm not doing? And what my girl doing that she not doing. And they don't like that. They do
Yeah,
not like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah,
It
yeah, they don't
threatens
like that.
it
I mean,
threatens the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
dynamic.
yeah,
It,
yeah, yeah. Like you don't see, like you don't see a lot of brothers saying that like, oh man, I'm gonna go beat Brad up like these swirlers. And you don't be hearing about your dudes say, oh, I'm finna go to the store, beating up a whole bunch of Brads and stuff like these bottom shelf Brads and all this type of stuff. Or you see a lot of some that get with some West African dudes. So I'm be thinking like you don't see us acting a fool like that. So and
well, I
I
mean,
think that's yeah,
it's not
because it's a
about
matriarch.
it's not about direct beating up, but we men are competitive, and
Mhm.
our girls is the trophy to show that we have won. It is. And if your trophy is unappealing, it's okay if your friend's trophy is unappealing. All you hoping is that your trophy is a little bit shinier than all of your friends' trophy. But
Right.
when you have
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
trophy
yeah.
that's made out of vibranium that shines and glows, then everybody else, it threatens the balance. And you see, the women know that. See, Melody, Chantel, they're threatening the balance. They're getting men to say, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to reevaluate. What's going wrong in the universe? There's a disturbance in the force.
Right.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yep, yep. Then they'll say that like, oh, you're a self hater. You hate yourself, and you with a black woman, but from a different culture, and basically, and you got the same skin tone. If you didn't hear their voice or nothing, if you didn't hear, they didn't have an accent, or if they didn't, um, show anything culturally, you wouldn't know the difference. But then they'll say, "Oh, you have a fetish." But I was like, "Oh, then you have a fetish for your own damn race." And I'm like, saying, so this is like the level of intelligence that you
No,
have,
it's
with a black woman from a different culture. So I was like,
No, it's not a fetish.
this is the
It's
level of
just what you
yeah.
want. Just like see, it's not really a fetish because it's not an outlier. Like children don't have candy fetishes. They don't have ice cream fetishes or chocolate fetishes. It's just what they want, and they want a lot of it. And you want to know what they don't want? Vegetables. So, ladies, if you are not working on your Chantelle Simone-ness and your sweet melody speakness, then you are the vegetables of vagina. You are the worst that they have to offer, but it has to be forced into the kid. Your vagina's Robitussin. It's not even like compared to the sweet ice creamy goodness that we see on the panel. That's what you have to understand. Now, those kids that can't eat sweets, they can't have it because their parents are strict, and then you give them a lollipop and they go bananas. See, that's why they want to keep those kids away from candy, because they know once they taste that sweet nectar, of a not a Tootsie Pop, that's nasty, but the sweet nectar of a blow pop, or ooh, a Jolly Rancher, a green or red Jolly Rancher, it's no going back. You know that they won't look at regular food the same. You can't just serve them liver after that. You know that they have upped what they want out of the universe. Their whole life has changed at that point. That's why parents who want to keep their kids away from they have to work hard. And these women deliberately try to keep our mentals away from the women on the panel. They don't want us to realize that they exist. They don't want us to smell it. They don't want us to smell their pheromones. Because they know once we do, we're not going to look at you the same. Like those people that think spam is meat. They think it's meat until they actually eat meat. Once they smell a steak, they're gonna be like, "Oh, spam? It's a whole different thing."
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
JC.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
Mental.
okay. It's okay for a dude to hop in a damn dress or something like that, but then you get a black woman from a different culture, the whole damn world, like comes to a damn end or some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to jump in a damn, dress and act a fool and we call it have dudes like acting like they pregnant and all that bullshit. So it just don't make no sense. I mean, when do you hear like an Irish dude um um saying, "Oh man, no, you with a Polish chick, man. Oh, you got some type of some chick saying, oh, you got some type of no fetish," and they both pale as a mother. Huh? They both some white people. I was like, it makes no damn sense, man. It's insanity. I mean, this is what the hell we dealing with over here in this and
Exactly.
What the hell?
Can I just read these super chats real quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So Clue, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. He says, "Sweet money mellow." Thank you. And then Chowhound again with the heavy-handed super chat. He says, "Excellent content. Thank you." Wow, this is second time. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Okay, you can continue, GC.
Nah, somebody in the thing said spam with corned beef is good. What? First of all, I don't know what corned beef is. But second of all, no, spam is not good. You've been in prison. Like spam is not. It's not meat. It's not meat. If I'm locked up, I'm pretty sure it would be a treat. Like those brothers who come out and talk to me about ramen noodles and stuff. But no, it's not. Just like Tootsie Rolls are not chocolate, spam is not meat.
No, it's not. So spam is disgusting.
It is disgusting. And ladies, if you're fat, your vagina is spam. And it both has that jelly. It both has that jelly that keeps it moist. That's what goes on with big one. It's sweat. It's glandular. There's a scientific word for it. I just don't remember what it is. But it's spam jelly.
Yeah, earlier we were saying, Chantal and I were saying, like the big girls, when in the summer, they must smell down there because all that meat, I don't know.
No, oh yeah, you got all
All
that
that
fat.
sweat. Yeah.
It's not meat. Muscle is meat, Melody. Like
They're
when
just
you
all
eat
fat.
it, yeah.
Oh, but no, it's the fat is like having a battle with the vagina, so the fat is like all inside the vagina. So it's basically the vagina and the fat is having a fight and stuff and all that mess.
Oh God.
People 5'2" and I weigh 200 pounds. Oh, that girl thick as hell. I was like, no, that woman fat as hell. She a damn lamb. Talking about, I was
Hey,
like,
you
oh,
know
she thick.
something?
See, this is
You,
like the Twilight Zone over here, man. In America, man, it's like a Twilight damn zone. It's
and you
like
know something, Jay? You know what I heard?
the sky is pink. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, the sky is blue. Everything's the opposite. So I was like, I
You
mean,
know what
yeah,
I
man.
heard, Jay? I heard that sometimes those guys aren't even having sex. They just have their penis between their thighs and they think it's a vagina. I heard that before. Like, because I picture the mechanics. Because, like, their thighs touch. Their thighs touch. I think that they just be, like, humping their thighs. Like, and yeah, I do. I strongly suspect that that's what they be doing. Because how do you get to it? How
I
do you
don't
get
know
to
how
it? The
you.
thighs are there.
Oh no, it's gross. But yeah, apparently a lot of guys like that. A lot of guys like their women overweight. We hear it in the space all the
No,
time.
they like it the way prisoners like prison food. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah. Going through. You got to do an archaeology dig. Just, what I'm saying, to find the private part. You know what I'm saying? You sitting here exploring the damn what do you call it? You exploring some exotic land or some shit. To
yeah,
find
exactly. They be down there with like a flashlight on their forehead and stuff, like a doctor and stuff. Like they be doing like they gotta go to the gynecologist just to get it in, like with all the stirrups and everything. Like the whole science of it is just wrong. Ladies, don't be fat. Don't make your vagina spam. Why? This is something you have control over. This is just don't be better.
Go to the
And
gym.
I'm not saying do it for your own health. I'm saying do it for my penis. Like, which is more important? Don't you want to be attracted to me?
You got a point there.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the actual reason to do it.
Right.
Now, y'all were talking about colorism and darkism. Now, it doesn't exist so much here, right? It doesn't exist so much here. And when I say here, I'm talking about California. But I do know amongst Southern brothers and women that it do exist. I was at Chantel's neck of the woods. I was in Dallas. My cousin's wife went to my niece, who's mixed. And keep in mind, she has dark skinned daughters of her own. And she says, where are my pretty girls at? I was like, oh, crap. Why do you call? I know you're calling her pretty because, not because you call kids cute. Kids before they turn 5 are cute automatically, and then it's a hit or miss depending on the kid's DNA. Like, but all 4 and below is cute by default. So, but that's what you call them. You don't call them pretty. You don't call them pretty. Pretty is something that's reserved for light-skinned kids, and I doubt that she said that crap about her own kids. So I think there is a there because she's from Texas, and they say crap like that. So I know that there is a there, but Chantel is right. It is still just an excuse. Just like racism exists, colorism exists, but it's still just an excuse. It's still just an excuse. Like you're still like an attractive woman if you are an attractive woman.
Now, GC, there are a lot of women who claim these men come up to them and say, "You're pretty for a dark-skinned woman."
They never say that ever. You're the dumbest person alive if you ever say. When do people say that? Especially if you're trying to sleep with a woman. When is that game? Is that are you charismatic if you say something like that? No man has ever said that's a made up thing. What so unless you stupid. Like what kind of man walks up to a woman and do they picture that happening in their head? I'm gonna walk up to her, say she's pretty for a dark skinned chick, and she's gonna rip her clothes off. Like what goes on in your head? That no man is that dense. None.
Yeah, I don't believe that either, but a lot of women say it happened. I
No, you
just,
do have dumbass people though up in here and stuff like that. So if if you're thinking that a chick is thick and 5'2" and 200 pounds and stuff, I can see people saying some dumbass stuff like that. Nah?
you
Yeah.
said you said if a chick is 200 pounds.
I was saying if they calling a chick that's 5'2", 200 pounds, all the woman is thick or something like that. I'm saying what I was saying that I can see somebody saying some dumbass stuff like that, because there is some, the culture is like dumb as all hell. So I can see people saying stupid stuff like that. So there's a lot of ignorant, there's a
There's
lot
a
of
lot
ignorant
of
people.
ignorance going on. And even
Yeah, yeah.
GC had a story about the South. This is all in the South. He said somebody stretched like a piece of Twix over their arm. What did you say? Tell the story.
Yeah, this is not my story, but my cousin, who's also from, of course, California, she went to Howard, and of course, it's in DC, and she started meeting students from the South there and stuff. And there was a light skinned girl who said that she's caramel complected, and she was lighter than the color of caramel. So my cousin was like, "You're not caramel complected. See, this is caramel and this is you." And then she said, "Nuh-uh, stretch it." I was dying.
So
I
she
was-
stretched the caramel over her arm just to see.
well, so the caramel in its dense form, from a naked Twix, the caramel in its dense form was too dark. So in order to make it lighter, so she can say that she's caramel colored, she stretched the caramel. Instead of for
Ridiculous.
like going out in the sun for I don't know however long it takes. But the point is me as a man, I don't care. I don't care if you are the color of caramel or stretched caramel. I really don't. And also there isn't no guys out there just saying, oh man, if you was the color of caramel, I'd get at you. That's just a made up story that they say for sympathy and stuff like that.
Right.
But this is an example of a lighter girl whose mentals was messed up because of whatever they got going on down there. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know if she was beat up or made fun of, or but she wanted to feel darker in the world.
Yeah, and I feel, I hope nobody beat me up for this, but I feel like the lighter people experience it worse than the dark people.
They do. That's why I made the light skinned song.
Yeah, because a lot of dark skinned women are envious of light skinned women and mixed women. So, yeah.
Well,
Look at,
I dated a light skinned chick whose mentals was all messed up, and she was like she was real light skinned, but she had natural hair down to her buttocks, and but the thing about her, the only unattractive thing about her was she had like bad acne. She had bad acne, and she was so light that the crap was red. Didn't like that, but I'm not going to say, oh no, this is not an attractive woman because of that. That's nobody's perfect type thing. You just charge that into that category. But she was like, I'm not like you. I'm light. Like, she was like, you don't understand because she ghosted me.
mm-hmm.
She ghosted me, and I was like, hey, so what was up with that? And she was like, no, no, I don't want to see you. You're gonna think I was like, well, I already met you, when I approached you. And she was just like, no, but you don't understand, we're gonna get together and you're gonna be upset. I'm not like you, I'm light. Like, what does that mean? But that's my way of saying, that it's in your head. And when I say your, I'm talking about the women's head. It's in the women's head. And I know that there's some southern dudes that be like on red bone. I don't know what a red bone is. But I know that they be like that, and I know it's a thing there, but so is chitlins. Just listen, most guys don't care. Most regular guys don't care. Kind of like we don't really care about the color of our car. It's more about the make and model. Yes, it's like a slight preference to most reasonable guys. But even still, guess what? Guess what? And this is the cold hard truth of it. And this is why I don't really care about y'all complaints in the mating market generally. And that is because y'all have more penis available to you than I have a vagina available to me, even if you're ugly. And I favor myself to be a slightly above average looking guy. So even an unattractive woman has more penis available to her than I have vagina available to me. So you get no sympathy ever.
Right. Exactly. So we have a new panelist. Hi, Chow.
What's up, everybody? How you doing, Melody?
Good.
Hey.
How are you?
I wanted to add in because due to the fact that I was a photographer as well as a photojournalist, there were issues that comments were made while I was at fashion shows, including the Ebony Fashion Fair and a number of other fashion shows that were around certain areas, downtown LA, fashion districts, so on and so forth. I have witnessed people make comments, men and women, that, for instance, if it was a model on the runway, they'll say, she's pretty for a dark skinned woman, for a model. And I've heard it many times when they talked about, to be so dark, you're beautiful. I've
Oh, so
heard this.
you actually hear this.
I was witnessing it
So
while
it
I'm
does.
shooting, while I'm photographing the shows and the model events. I'm listening and hearing all of this behind and around me.
Wait a minute. Who's saying this? Who you're saying
The
that?
people in the audience, some of the people in the audience, some of the people that are around some of the models, both male and female. And I've heard it at the Ebony Fashion Fair when they had their shows and some of the other shows.
So okay. Let me get this straight because it sounds like bullshit. But let me get this straight.
No, it's not bullshit because I witnessed it.
Okay, let me get this straight. You're
And there was,
telling me
excuse me, hold on a second. And there was an article in one of they did an article about this. It's either in Essence, I can't remember. It's an article done about this in Essence or Ebony. I mean, this is like we're going back to the 80s. But the article was done about this light skin, dark skin thing. It was done. Go ahead, GC. I'm listening.
you're telling me that at the Ebony thing at the Ebony Fashion Fair, and just by the name, it assumes that there are darker skinned people there, or at least caramel, at least unstretched caramel women there, right? So you're telling me that at this event, somebody behaved as if they never seen a beautiful dark skinned woman before? Because
Yes,
that's
yes.
essentially what's being said.
It's not. It's you got to understand the context and how it's being said and how they looked at it. Because the beauty, this is something that's supposed to be normal. But some people that come to these events, it's not normal. Some people trip because there was a thing they were pushing for light skinned models at one time. I remember this. But I had brought in a clutch of models, and they were both dark and light skinned.
Mm-hmm.
They were all 6'1", 6'2". That's what they looked for. Very slim.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for these kind of models. The fact that they were tall was one of the things they looked at. Then they looked at the hair and they looked at how you can model the clothes, because we don't want you having too much top, too much bottom, because of the fact that we don't want the people looking at your body instead of looking at the clothes. That's why you didn't see a lot of sisters that had big breasts or big behinds, even though they'll be tall and they could have that. You didn't see them, but that some of them was very shapely.
So
some of them ended up, some of the ones that were more slimmer, that fit the role, that can go into Yves Saint Laurent and some of the other places, they started modeling overseas, over in Italy and France, because of what they were looking for. But these comments I was listening was being said, which at the time it was looked at as something normal as being mentioned. And now with cancel culture and everything else, it's an issue, and I can understand that. But at that time, I'm talking about in the 80s, in the early 90s, people didn't trip. They didn't trip hard. They just didn't trip hard when these comments were made. Because if you remember in School Days, when they brought School Days out, that light skin, dark skin issue, which was prevalent during that time, they brought it up in School Days.
Mm-hmm. Good and bad hair. Yeah. No, I remember
all of that. That's something that was going on then.
So let me ask Chantal, what do you think about all this? Do you think that happened?
I think it does. I think colorism do exist. It is there. Especially like, people thinking, oh, like to Game Changer's point, the babies, the kids, oh, the pretty girls, lighter mixed kids being prettier. I think it do exist. As I say, I don't experience it personally, so I never had anyone say, oh yeah, you're pretty for a girl, or insert whatever skin tone you put me at. But I can't say if it do or do not. But yeah.
Well, what I do want to say, and this is to Chowhound and others, is that as a man, I don't care, because you're not going to get any type of affirmative action or any type of preferential. I'm not going to try to balance my penis. I'm not going to try to say, something like, oh, this woman was looked over. Okay, here's some penis for you. Why? Because you're not going to do the same for me. And another thing, Chowhound, they're models. They're models. I care not. I care not about the plight of models. Why? Because they're paid to look the way they do. So which means that they are so beautiful that their entire livelihood depends on the way that they were genetically made, and then they complain that it's not beautiful or enough to this individual asshole in the audience. No, I don't want to hear your complaints. It's kind of like when the professional basketball or football players say something about, ooh, the referee don't like me, and then he says that to a coal miner or a garbage man or a janitor or an assistant janitor. You want to know who don't like the assistant janitor? God. So why would he like you? No matter what, you're still in a superior position. You're still in a superior position, and you're complaining.
So let me ask
you: How dare you? How dare you make that complaint to others, to anybody? You're a model. You're a model. Next time a model says, oh yes, it's a problem because dark skinned, dark skinned. I was like, I'll tell you the problem I have, that I haven't slept with enough models. You solve my problem, I solve yours. How dare you?
Well, okay, so I have another question for Chantel. That was silly. It was funny, GC. But let me ask Chantel a question. What about texturism? Does it exist?
What do you mean?
Texturism, like the texture of your hair.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
The good hair conversation, everybody wants to either have a certain kind of hair. What I've noticed as someone who finds that straightening my hair is easier for me, I get shamed and pushed back by a lot of women who find that they can do their curly hair. Um, as if to say like, oh well, you're not black enough because you straighten your hair, kind of situation. But I
Mhm.
do think that, yeah, especially the conversation with good hair. I think it Chris Tucker or Chris Rock, somebody had
Chris.
yeah, he had a good hair movie. So I do think that's an issue again, though it comes back to there are a lot of isms. It's just another victim card that so many of us black women want to use. They want to play the victim card. It just comes back down to find what works for you, find how it works for you, and do you. If you find that you are not if you find that, hey, how my hair is doesn't fit my face, or how I do this doesn't work for me, then do what works for you, instead of just saying, hey, you guys should accept me like this.
Right. So weaves. Thoughts on weaves?
The more I'm in this space, and the more I observe things, I realize how dysfunctional weaves can be. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Every now and then you want to quote unquote protective style. However, I see so many black women so dependent on weave and the
Mhm.
lace fronts. And if you were to say anything to them about it, it's like, oh, you're dimming my light. I'm a black woman. We already have it hard. Where it's just like, why are you
Come
so
on.
dependent on your lace fronts? Um, why is it such a big thing in our culture? And then even to think about it, what are other cultures saying about us? Because I would think that if I was where we've come from, Brazilian,
It's Brazil and Peruvian and
yeah,
other people.
I would
Yeah.
find it a little weird that like that they're wearing my people's hair. I would find it.
Right. Oh, exactly. And like my favorite protective style is knotless box braids. I
Mhm.
love knotless box braids, and I like what do you call those twists? They look like dreads.
Is it a passion twist?
Passion twist. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
those too.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
love braids. I'm not a fan of the wigs, the lace
the
fronts.
lace fronts.
Um,
Yeah.
every now and then I'll put in a sew in if I want something new, but braids are made to go protective style. But as I said, like, it's just like the fact that it's so big in our culture, and the fact that it's a specific way of how they're doing it when they're doing the edges with the lace front, and it's like it's so obvious, but
It's awful. Like, why would anybody throw that on their head? I don't get
I
it.
don't get it. I don't get it. But hey, nobody can say anything, because when you're queens and goddesses, no one can say anything to you.
Right.
Well, it's laziness in a nutshell, and that's what it reads to men. Like we
Mm.
see that, and we see fast food, we see microwave dinners, we see somebody who takes shortcuts in areas of pleasing men. That's what we see. Now, just like every now and again, a man might, eat some fast food, or a man might, eat a TV dinner because he's hungry right now, and he's looking for instant gratification. A lot of women find themselves being used as instant gratification because that is what they're putting off. That's what
Mhm.
they're putting off to the men. They're saying that, I give instant gratification. I am an instant gratification girl. You know, to where tending to natural hair, whether it's straight or puffy. I like puffy. Whether it's straight or puffy, um, it takes time and it takes effort and it takes discipline.
Right.
And it also takes well, sorry, I think your mic is muted.
Yeah, I saw. It
Oh,
takes care. It takes showing that you're diligent and patient to work with your hair. So that's also an indication how you're going to be with the kids. And we can even tie it back into your diet. If you care about your weight, your body, that's also an indication how you're going to be with treat the kids, and how you're going to care for the kids. So yeah, I can see from a man's perspective how he will look at stuff like that.
now, Joe Johnson says black women are becoming over sexualized. I disagree. I disagree. I am seeing less and less nipple in like soft sex scenes on TV and movies. In fact, I'm seeing far too much penis. Like it's getting gayer and it's less like all the sex scenes have the bra on. It's weird and yeah, everybody's being less sexualized as far as the women go, as far as
Mhm.
the hetero women go. So yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing like less of it.
Yeah, I don't think, well, what they mean by that, I think he means because when you turn on Instagram, all the
Oh,
black women, yeah, are like shaking their butts, twerking, and they get their bodies done. So yeah, I get what they're saying.
oh, I don't Instagram.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I got the Game Changer one, but I don't peruse Instagram. So yeah, I can see that being the case. But that's self sexualization, there. But yeah, I get what you're saying, John.
So Chowham, what's your take on that? What do you think?
Well, as far as the hair and stuff, it's disappointing because I came through a time where the sisters were proud of their hair, come from a family where they encourage growing your natural hair. So when I see some of the stuff that I see now, they don't even, some women, and I'm not saying all women, I'm saying some don't even take care of their hair when they do these weaves. They leave them in for weeks at a time. And then you start seeing the crud that comes up with the dandruff and everything else, which tells me they're not even showering their hair. They're not taking care of themselves. It's like a quick fix. So I don't have to worry about having my hair done. Some of them, if you look at like my brothers, my older brother's ex-wife, and then my older sister, them, they're spending just about every week to 2 weeks anywhere from 100 some $200 just on having their hair done to have that long hair. That's what it takes to take care of it. And some women are like, I can't afford all of this, so I'm not about to spend 100 some $200 or whatever for me to have my hair done. And some of them could easily learn how to do their own hair because if they were brought up in the right home, their mother did their hair or their aunt or their grandmother. But you don't see that. You see quick fixes. The braids is the easiest thing with the extension. At least you can still have your own hair, but they're putting all kinds of weaves and tracks in their hair, and it's I don't like it
Listen,
personally. I don't like it.
yeah, but listen, if you're gonna wear a weave also, don't wear a white girl. Don't wear the real straight white girl weave. Get it to match your texture. If you got curly hair, get the curl pattern to match your curly hair. You know what I mean? So you can leave most of your hair out and then you can wash it. You can get all in your scalp when you go to wash your weave. You can wash it. You don't have to walk around with dirty weaves for the rest of
Right.
your.
What I find funny is I ran into Asian women and white women and some others that want to have hair like the sisters.
That's not
So
Really?
they
funny.
crimp their hair. I've seen them. They crimp their hair. I was like, wow,
That's not
because
funny.
they
That's smart. That's smart. I like that. I like it. I like it in my face when I wake up, and I like and it's kind of like a pillow. And sometimes I like to bite it. It's kind of like a third breast because like you feel it. It's spongy and it gets between your fingers and stuff like that when you grab it. Like I like that. You know,
So you experienced what I'm talking about, GC. Then, right?
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Okay.
and like that chick Zaza Bay, and I told you I want to put a Jello pudding snack in her hair and eat it. Yeah,
See,
yeah.
now
Bro,
you get in the
said, "What?
fed.
I
You
want to
might as well
bite it.
throw in
I
the
want to bite
chocolate,
it.
the
You said,
chocolate and the strawberries.
no, the chocolate and vanilla. I didn't know they had like strawberry pudding, but no, but yeah, I want to put it because you could dip it in and it gets everywhere and yeah, and eat it, yeah, and bite it.
Well, I mean the strawberries, not the pudding, but the strawberries.
Put strawberry.
Okay, so
Yeah, but
anybody?
I'm not gonna speak for all men, but I like what do y'all call it? 4C. I like 4C. I see nothing wrong
Foresee.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, all hair is beautiful if you take care of it.
No, it's not.
I said
That's
if
something
you.
that women with
I
ugly
said
hair say. But
I
no,
said
I
if
just
you
said,
take care of it,
oh, okay, yeah.
it'll be beautiful. But anybody else have any different questions to ask Chantel that wasn't already covered?
So you were saying about detecting um false pygmies before, right? I want to speak on that a little bit, if I may. I will say, and this is something I assume. This is something I assume. Somebody said I should never complain if hair is in my food. No, I want food in the hair, not hair in the food. And besides, I want to know whose it is. No, I'll complain, but no. I assume that there was like an intuition that women have as far as detecting a fake pygmy. That kind of like y'all can detect certain things about men, like women's intuition. I just assume that because I'm gonna be honest, is it is very difficult for men, particularly black men who also weren't raised, just like you weren't raised to be feminine, we weren't raised to recognize it. So it is very difficult, and time is the thing. Where Chow go? Well, time is the thing that that determines. Like now, the problem with that is it takes time. It's the reason why men would probably wait a little bit, before asking a choice woman to marry her, which is unfair to the women, because they have finite fertility. So it causes this thing. It's like but unfortunately, we have to take time out to scan for fake pygmies. It's sad but true. So, like, is there what I'm asking Chantel is what shortcuts would you recommend? Like, how would you expedite the problem
Like for men or for women?
for men to determine if the woman is a fake pygmy?
Oh, you can do it based on like just like as I said, like how would she react to certain things you say? Like the example I used was to suggest that she lose 5, 10 pounds. See how she react to that. If she gets offended, if she's like, "Oh, how dare you tell me?" That could be an indication that she's a fake pick me because if she was a true pick me, she would want to be attractive to you, attractive for you. Um, and if you were to say to her, "Hey, I will be a little bit more attractive if you were to lose 5 pounds," even if it's true or not, but you're just seeing her reaction, um, that could be a way. I know for a woman, for me, I say things like if a woman can never say anything positive about a man, especially a black man, then I know that she's not a quote unquote pick me. Like if all she wants to do is complain about how men ain't this, men ain't that. Like if I was to meet a friend, for example, we're talking relationships, we're talking something happened in the relationship. Depending on what she says, it would be an indication if I am going to be her friend or not.
Okay, well let me paint a scenario from my personal life. Right,
Mhm.
woman asks me, she says, "Do you think I'm beautiful?" To which I respond, "Yes, I do. However, I would like to see you lose some pounds." Her response to that is, "So you don't think I'm beautiful anymore, or you think I'm ugly?" How should I, on my scan on fake pygmyism, what should I read? Should I give that like a yellow alert, or like what level of alert is that?
I would put that more like honestly, I would put that as a red.
That's a red, huh?
Yeah, I would put it as a red because as I said, like you want you want her to be so, and I use this word loosely, but obsessed with you that she would want to get on your page and she would want to please you, you know, to cater to you. And
Okay.
if her losing a couple pounds, it would be a way of catering to you, which it is, and she get offended by that, I would put that like as a red flag.
So let me ask you a question, Chantel. So what if she I'm trying to think of another one. So what if she's like, oh, like he said, you don't think I'm beautiful anymore, whatever. And then but she still goes out and rides her bike and walks and runs, like would that make her not a pygmy?
No, because she's doing the action that that requires to get to the goal that he suggested. I
Oh,
don't know why her comment would, but if she plans on doing it, why would she say, "Oh, you don't think I'm beautiful anymore"? I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't get why.
that's the weird part.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if someone is like, "Oh, do you think I'm beautiful?" and he's like, "Yeah, but you need," I don't think that means that he doesn't think you're beautiful. Um, we're not perfect, you know. If she could lose 10 pounds to be like really beautiful, why not? I don't see anything wrong with it, but that's just me. Some people see it differently. Some women will see it as, oh, you need to take her how she is, accept her for how she is.
okay, but what about this scenario? Same, very similar. She says, so you're not reacting to me the same anymore. Do you still think I'm beautiful? And then I said, well, you are for a dark skinned girl. No, I'm
Well,
joking.
that's terrible.
I'm
That's
joking.
yeah, that's
I'm
horrible.
joking. I would never.
Because you see, like stuff like that, like okay, saying you are for a dark skin girl, that's nothing she can change.
Yeah, I
She
know.
can
I'm
do it
joking. I would never say nothing like that. No, I'm joking.
So, well, quick question though. I know this whole. I saw a video the other day about a man telling his wife that she needs to lose weight. It's. I think it was some of those love and hip hop couple. They've been married for 20 years, and he said, "Oh, it's time for you to hit up the gym, getting a little thick." And he got a lot of backlash from that, saying, women in the comments saying, "Oh, he needs to take her for how she is." What are you guys' thoughts on that? Would you guys should men be able to tell their wives or girlfriends if they're getting a little thick? And
What
how
the way I the
I,
way
you
the
go
way I look at this, the way I look at this is if you meet somebody and they're a small weight the way they are, I'm understanding how some people over years gradually start gaining weight. But to beat that, what you do is you got before it gets out of hand, you start in on it. You don't wait till it gets to the point where hey, you're getting fat. You don't wait. You say, look, hey, check it out. Let's go to the gym because hey, I keep my weight a certain way. So, I want you to do the same. This we met like this. This is where we want to, if we're looking at each other the same way, we need to keep this up. So we need to look out for each other in a sense. So that way, if you motivate her, she won't be so much as being pressured as if it'll mess with her self-esteem. And then it'll be, oh, you took me. Yeah, I took you the way you were then. Well, time changes. Well, I understand that, but there's nothing wrong with getting in shape and getting it together. If it's done that way, it could probably work, but some women will give kickback. It all depends. Go
now.
ahead, GC.
Okay, I'll go. So, 20 years, I am willing to concede certain things. I'm not so cold to where, I can look at about what 6 kids after 20 years and, and then just say, something, you're fat. I can't really be too cold like that. However, that withstanding, I do have my limits. I am forgiving for mother of children and a mother of my children, to say, hey, um, I get it. I'm not gonna say like the day you pop it out, like, all right, so now that you got that out, take that baby off your breast and hop on that treadmill. I'm not going to say that, you know.
Funny.
So I want to be reasonable. Yeah, somebody said 20 pounds in 20 years is nothing. Okay, I will take that into consideration. That does not give you carte blanche to just get retarded with it. And don't pop out two and then just say, okay, now I'm gonna eat whipped cream directly from the thing and cookie dough. Don't think I'm not gonna mention that. And I have every right to. However, I will take into consideration that you did pop out my children.
Right.
Well,
So you're not.
see, after 20 years, you don't be with somebody after 20 years because you find them attractive still. You're not supposed to find them attractive, even if they are. Like you be with them because it's supposed to be a working relationship at a certain point. That's what I agree. I don't think that love should be the only determinant factor on to which you should if you should remain in a relationship with somebody.
So let me ask you guys a question before I forget. So, like you just said, because I hear a lot of people saying that you don't have to be in love to be married and all that. But what about the sex aspect of it? Like,
Do you know how
if
many
you're
people
not
I have sex
attracted,
with that I don't love?
I'm just saying, if you're not attracted to somebody,
It
how do you,
changes. It
how do you
changes with
have sex?
some. It changes with some relationships. Some relationships they actually the chest. I mean, not the chest, but the sex fizzles out, and it's not a big issue. And sometimes they're allowed to. Sometimes the other spouse allow if the other spouse want to take off and have a little fling here and there, depending on how the relationship is solid. Sometimes they allow that. I've seen them where the sex died out, and what they ended up doing was going to swinging parties and start swinging and watching other people screwing their spouse. So it varies. I mean, these are the things that go on when you get with somebody and you've been with them a long time. Sex is not going to be the major thing, and then there's some that I know that the sex is still there. It's not as much, but it's the companionship and them being together. They can lay in the bed without having sex and just be, how can I put it, very romantic about it and hugging each other and going to sleep while they're in each other's arms.
Yeah, but then is
So
it okay? But then is it okay to start cheating with
in
someone
some
that
aspects,
you're
they
not
get, see, this is what I'm
attracted to?
saying, Melody. This is what I'm saying. In some instances where instead of getting a divorce, they keep together for the companionship for the long term because they understand if we separate, then somebody's going to have problems down the road, possibly
Hmm.
financially and all that. So what they do is they stick together. So they inherit whatever is going to happen down the end. So they agree to the swinging parties to a certain point. I've talked to some that actually that have saved their marriages when they've done the swinging party. They said, "Hey, we have another life. It's like we have another love, and we appreciate each other." I found it strange, but I'm understanding it. I'm understanding because I talked to people that have done this.
So, wait, real
So
quick, Max. Oh, are you done? Whenever you're done, I want to ask Chantel a question. You can go ahead.
okay, so as far as length of time, that depends on the individual couples and what realizations they come to as far as them being loved or not loved or there. So you can have a thing where it's not so much as saying it's love as far as being in love, but having a love that the companionship lives on. It keeps it on. It gives the energy for them to move on as far as together as a couple. So it varies, depends on the maturity of the couple and where they mentally stand at, and to some degree, emotionally to certain points. And if there's a lot of love and respect there, that doesn't necessarily have to mean sex and everything. That can help keep a relationship, the marriage together in itself. But you have some people that didn't even marry that's still together. So it
Right.
varies.
So, okay, I get what you're saying. But Chantel, do you think marriage is a business? Do you think that you don't have to have love for marriage?
So I think marriage is a business. Yeah, I think in some sense it can be, we talk about being a partnership and stuff. I wouldn't say like you don't have to have love. I think love is helpful. But if you look at cultures where they have arranged marriages, um I mean their marriage still work for the most part. One can say, some people will probably be like, oh, it's because they have to stay in a relationship and divorce is not an option or whatever. But even if you look at our grandparents, how they when or great grandparents, previous generations, when they got together, love wasn't as an important factor as it is now. I think now, in today's day and age, we're looking for the butterflies, we're looking for the fairy tale story
Mhm.
instead of the duty part, the arrangement part, the part that says, hey, it makes sense if we combine our income instead of paying two separate rents and two separate electric bill. That's why I would say it's a business, because it will set you up to do more things. um but yeah, I want to answer your question. Yes, I think it's a business. It can be a form of business, and if love is necessary, I don't think I wouldn't want a loveless marriage, but I wouldn't want a marriage just solely based on love.
Right. Good. All right. Good
It
answer.
does seem like you would develop love over time, even in an arranged marriage. Like, I can't imagine, I mean, you're going to develop a tight bond with somebody
Exactly.
that you work together with, for so long. Like and especially that you're intimate with. Like,
Exactly.
that's something that would develop over time. But as far as the swinging thing go, when I said that, disinterest, I'm talking about like the point in a relationship that I'm sure I've never came to this point, but I think that people who are together like a long time sexually, they just have conversations like, we didn't have sex last month. Like, oh yeah, well, I guess we should, like, okay, tomorrow. I got a feeling that it gets to that point, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean that you swing. I mean, to those who do, go ahead. But, you know, um, I think that, once the sex fizzles out, you just focus on the other aspects of the marriage. Like, to me.
And then if we think about things realistically too, like we're talking about marriages that last for years, like 20, 30, 40 years. You can't expect the same energy, the same vibe that you had at the beginning, the same sex drive that you had at the beginning
Exactly.
to still be alive within those years. So when
And
I
that's
hear
okay.
people, yeah, and that's okay. When I hear people judge other people's marriages, like if they're into this whole swinging thing or whatever they do to keep their marriage alive, it's like it's none of your business. And unless you've been in a marriage for a long time, it's years. Like if you're thinking of a 40-year marriage, that's a long time to be with one person.
Hmm.
um if we think about it realistically, then we'll realize that, okay, yeah, love goes only so far. Because I love my sister, can I live with her? No. Love can only take you so far, until duty comes in. If I made a commitment to say, hey, I'm going to stick with you, we're going to do this, I think it goes hand in hand. So that's where the business and the love goes hand in hand.
Right. Celine said after 20 years, it's about the life that you built together. Now, and I agree. And that goes back to your question, or whose question was that? 20-year marriage and lose weight? I would still, even though not for my own, I'm assuming that not for my own, lust, but just because, listen, it's a bad look, it's a bad example. It makes me look bad, and you're setting a bad example for the kids and subsequent grandchildren. So, please
And
do. But I would take things into consideration, your age and,
Mhm.
other
And
things.
I asked that question mostly because of the backlash that person was getting for suggesting that his wife lose weight. To me, I saw it as, if your husband can't tell you, who can, who should. Not necessarily where he's saying, I'm gonna leave you if you don't lose the weight, but I would like my man to be, hey, you gain a little weight. And Melody mentioned it earlier, her mom said, hey, you getting a little weight, and she took it and went ahead and worked out. So it was more like the backlash she was getting to the audacity of even telling your wife that she's gaining weight. Where who do you guys expect to tell her?
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
Now, Melody, if I may, can I bring up another fake pick me test
Yeah,
from my
sure.
personal life? Okay. So I'm at the post office, right? I'm not gonna say old man, but a man who's between 60 and 70. Had a big box, asked me for some help, took it into the post office for him. When I came out, I was in my 20s. When I came out, he had like a bunch of money in his hand. I don't know how much it was, but it was a 10 in there. I said, "Oh no, thank you." And then I get in the car with my girl at the time, and she flips. She's like, "You think you're too good to take that money? You and blah 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 blah." How on the meter? How bad is that, Melody and Chantel?
Oh, that's a 10. You said she was like, you too good to take the money and she was giving you a lot of mouth?
A lot of it. A
Oh,
lot of it. This was one who present themselves as a pick. Really, I primarily try to deal in pick me's instead outside of pumping up situations. So, but so they put on this fake pick me is, and then something like that happens. Something as simple as I took it in for free. Like I took this stuff in for free because I'm a regular, decent human being and a citizen of the world, And she called me a slave. It was all kind of strange stuff in that conversation. That's
yeah,
it.
she had to go. She had to go. There's no way that you should have stood there and took that.
Yeah, and then it's not, a lot of times it's like, it's how she approached the conversation. And one thing I find that men like, respect, how a woman speak to you, indicates just how much she respects you. So it's like how she was saying, like, oh, so you think you're too good to take the money. It's that shows her willingness, or her lack of willingness, to follow your lead, and to respect your decision. Because if you decided to not take the money, why is she questioning that, if that makes sense?
True. I think she wanted the money.
No,
I,
but she should definitely fall back into her feminine state and let you take control of the situation. She should never try to alpha her way up like that. That's bad.
okay. One last scenario. Woman is nice to you. I'm not going to go into the details of this one because I think I told the story on my channel before. But woman is nice to you, but she is really, really mean to waitresses. First date, is that like how much of a red? Like she constantly sent her. I think it was grits. It was at Denny's. She sent it back like 3-4 times.
Huge red flag, huge red. And I look for that. I look for how he treats the waiters and the waitresses, because it's like, yeah, you're going to treat me nice because you want me, you're attracted to me, but how do you treat other people shows your characteristics. And I mean,
Yeah.
no shade to anybody who send back food at restaurant, but come on, if you ordered something and they made it wrong, that's different. But if you ordered something and you're like, oh, I should not ordered it, I don't like it, and then you send it back, like, come on, that's on you, and that's kind of unfair. um I had I wouldn't call her a friend, but she was someone who, we were hanging out a bit, and every time we went out to eat, she would complain about the food. She would send back something, even if it's the drink, she'll send back something.
Oh
That
crap.
shows a lot about your characteristics, because it's like you're not keeping their work, their time that they put into it, and the money that the restaurant is losing from you sending back food into consideration.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I agree. What do you say, Melody?
Sorry. Like what, to what Chantel said or to what you just, the
To the
question you.
scenario.
I think, like she said, it's a red flag. If she can treat them like that, she's going to treat you like that. She's going to treat your kids like that. If you decide to have them, your family, don't do it.
Okay.
She, yeah, she's gone.
Fellas, pay attention. Pay attention because these aren't the ones who are just, first of all, these aren't the ones with bonnets. I don't really, even though I was young, I'm not taking a bonnet chick to this. In fact, back in my day, that wasn't a thing. But these aren't like the openly, where you can see them coming a mile away because they're big. These are the ones who at some point were able to convince me that they were somewhat decent women, somewhat feminine women, you know.
And those
So
are honestly, those are small red flags that you can look for. Like I say, it doesn't take too long to get to know a person's characteristics if you are paying attention. Um, a huge indication will be how they treat other people.
mhm.
See,
Yeah.
I'll go out. I'll take a woman out different types of restaurants. I can go to the Five Stars in Beverly Hills, or I can go to Denny's or Jimbo's or anywhere, and I'll look at how they respond to when we're out. So if I can take them to a lesser restaurant and they act accordingly, I'll take them to like Moon Shadows or something in Malibu along the coast, and I'll see how they respond that way. Usually by that second or third date, I'm already knowing if we're gonna go any further or not. And a lot of times we're not gonna go too much further because my interest is not it wanes, it doesn't stay because I'm looking at other factors also. But when I see how they respond, you get some women, like when I went to the warehouse in the marina, she this is one particular female was asking, can I order this? Can I order this? And I sat back and I was curious. I said, okay, let me see where this is gonna go. She was ordering extra dishes to be packed up so she could take them home for lunch or dinner during the week. So I peeped that out. So that said to myself, okay, I'll go ahead and do this, but this is the last time we're going out. She wanted to go out again. I said, no, I'm not, I lost interest and I'm going another direction. She was upset.
okay, he faded away, but I actually wouldn't lose interest at that point, uh, especially depending on her age. I would just assume that she's poor. Now, that would probably bring into question if she's interested in me or financial stability. However, I wouldn't entirely lose interest in a woman because she's not financially stable. Um, you know, Everybody knows the stove story. I don't really like lose interest just because a woman isn't financially stable or something like that. I mean, there is a deceit factor into it because she's this is for the date, and you question the motivation, but her poverty alone, I don't know how to rank that one. That's an interesting scenario that I don't know if that's ever happened to me. I never paid that much attention to it.
Wait, GC, what was the last thing you said? I'm sorry.
No, just saying, I don't know how to rank that one. Like, is that a red flag or something like that? I mean, she's obviously, saving money on food. Like, I don't, you know.
I would say it's a red flag. All of that is red flags, GC. If it don't seem right, it's a red flag. Trust me. It's not.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to, I don't know how to say this to be polite, but from a man's point of view, none of y'all are ever right ever. Like, so and that's more of the no one's perfect thing. Like I told you, I dated that one girl who just was like, I'm not like you, I'm light. That's not right. But it's not really like a red flag that she's gonna throw pancakes at me one day. Like, you see what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I get you, but I don't know. What do you think, Chantal, about that one?
I honestly, in hearing the story, I would say it's a red flag because I would say that she's not considerate of like his wallet. Yeah, he asked her out. But at the same time, I know if I am on a first date, I'm not gonna intentionally order the most expensive thing on the menu, just so he can spend. But to JC, to Game Changer's point, you're right. You don't know if she's poor and she's ordering extra just so she can have something to eat tomorrow. But also that can be inconsiderate too, because you don't know what his pocket looks like.
Right. I mean, Chantal, let me ask you a question. When you
Mhm.
go on dates, do you like me? I'll order like a salad and some salmon or something. I'll try to keep it
Mhm.
like on the light side, and I don't try to order too much. How about
Mhm.
you?
Honestly, when I go on dates, I eat first. So when I'm there, I'm not as hungry, so I'll get like something like an appetizer or something.
Right.
Um, I will do a minimum of two drinks, nothing more. And yeah, I tend to follow his lead. whatever he's ordering. I mean, I'm limited in what I can order because I don't eat meat, but I eat salmon, and salmon tends to be one of the most expensive things on the
Me
menu.
too. Yeah.
So
But even, I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I would try to stick to an appetizer, like if they have like a meatless appetizer or something. But I tend to follow his lead. Depending on the guy, he'll probably ask, "Oh, if you want to get dessert, I'm not gonna get dessert." Just like little things, just because.
Yeah.
And some women will be like, "Oh, you don't know your worth. If he asks you out, you should eat." But it's like, okay, I'm on a date too because I am also interested in him. It's not just one way. So why would I take advantage of the guy that I could potentially be with in the future?
That's true. Now, one more question. Would you pay for the bill?
On the first date, no. Um, I believe who asks pays. Um, and I make it a point of duty to ask sometimes, especially if I'm trying to get to know someone. So on the first date, if he asks, I wouldn't cover the bill. Um, if it's a situation where we're dating and I'm getting to know you, I'll probably ask for the third or fourth date and I'll cover the bill.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you ask me out, I'm expecting you to pay. And then vice versa. If I ask you out, you should be expecting me to pay.
Right. Now, I've been in situations where I went on a date several times, and every time I tried to pay, they wouldn't let me. I'm like, well, you paid the first 5 times. Can I pay? And they're like, no. Have you ever been in that situation where they just
Um,
no?
I've been in situations where I'll be like, "Hey, I got this," and then he'll be like, "No, I'll pay." I try not to push back on it. I'm like, "Okay, thank you," but then I know the next time I'll be intentional. Like, if I'm dating a guy who would push back on me paying for the bill, then I'll do takeout and pick up the food and pay for the food. If I want to treat him instead of us going to the restaurant and when the bill comes, he's gonna want to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do takeout and pay for the food when I pick it up, and then if we meet somewhere or if I'm going to his place or something.
Right. And you know what else I'm good with? Like, I'm a simple person. I like picnics. Like, I don't mind having a picnic in a park or like on the mountains. Because I'm very simple. A lot of women be like, well, you're going to take me here and there if you're going to go on a date with me because they're
Hmm.
really entitled. But
Hmm.
I've always been like a simple person. What about
Hmm.
you? Does it
Yeah,
matter what makes you? Oh, go ahead.
I like this. I like the simple dates. I like the coffee dates and the smoothie dates, the gym dates and stuff. I think the level up femininity movement kind of influenced so many of us to set our standards and demand the highest of the high, and the extreme dates, not necessarily because that's what we like, but that's what we're thinking, that okay, if a man is interested in us, he will spend money on us. Unfortunately, so many women think like that. um but I personally like the simple dates. I mean, I'm a homebody though, so to get me out the house is pulling teeth.
Right.
So because this is what I do. Is coffee any that doesn't send off any red flags to you, ladies? That's my starting point.
like,
No,
like a
I don't
coffee
mind
date.
a coffee date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I low key, because I'm not the fussy type to like get dressed and to be in heels and stuff. Once in a while that's nice, but if I had to choose between a low key brunch, like not brunch, but like a coffee or a smoothie date that I can wear my flats or like my gym shoes, or a date where I have to wear those really uncomfortable heels and like you dress up, I would nine probably 8 out of 10 times choose the low key date.
Okay. So a guy comes to you, he says, let's go out for coffee, and then y'all click over that because coffee is a very short date.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it is long enough to determine if you're reasonably compatible. And then he says, something such and such is in season right now. You want to go to the farmer's market? I want to stock up on
Hmm.
such and such, whether it's strawberries, depending on where you live. I know they don't really grow in Texas like that, but you know.
Mhm.
So that's reasonable, right? Guys don't
Mhm.
really have to go out all the way to, you know, to please.
Honestly, they don't, but once in a while we will like that because I've been in situations too where I am so simple that we the whole relationship and we would only go out to nice dates like once because I have been okay with the simple dates. So once in a while I would like the nice dress up going out dates, but it doesn't have to be it all the time.
Yeah, I get that. I'm always referring to more like in the beginning, get to know you phase.
Well, yeah, in the beginning, get to know you. I mean, it's all about conversation. So if we can go somewhere and have open conversation, I think those high class restaurants, yeah, you can have the open conversation, but not as in depth. I think as the
Right.
coffee date or the farmers market date. Which farmers market day is a really good date for any guys listening.
Oh, y'all hear that? That's game. Farmers market.
You know what's a cool date too? I mean, this is only if you trust the guy to go back to his house and cook him a meal, or to have him come to yours and you cook him a meal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good date.
It
Um,
is, but I think it's not pushed a lot because it's not the narrative of women catering to men or
oh yeah,
reciprocating or pursuing men isn't pushed at all.
exactly. Okay, so let me
You
read
know,
this.
I tried. Oh, go for it.
I'm gonna read the super chat from Big J. He says, "How they treat other people. I wonder if the men on this forum understand their own words and attitudes could make or break a relationship date." I'm just saying. What do you think about that, Chantel?
I don't know what he was referring to, but yeah, I mean, I think everybody's words and attitude can break a relationship, especially a first date. I have been on some dates or where like I don't know, you have some people who are just not nice. Like you have some people who are rude to waitress. You have some people who are like, oh, it's their job, they're supposed to do it. And being someone who wasn't raised with the fancy stuff, who my mom was the one who would have to clean up the plates,
Yeah.
like even my mom worked at Walmart before she passed. I When I go in Walmart, I'm trying to pick up stuff that's out of place because I know my mom had to be the one to do it. So I pay attention to that. I pay attention to how you treat people. And there's some people who are just not nice. You have people who they will go to the grocery store and not want something anymore. And instead of walking it back to where it belongs, they'll just leave it anywhere. To
Oh my
me,
God, I
I
hate
don't
that.
like that because you're
Mm-mm.
inconsiderate to the workers.
Now, is that a red flag to for guys? Does what you described?
Oh,
Would that be if you were, y'all agreed to the dinner date, and a guy was to, take a Jello pudding. I don't know why I'm thinking about Jello, but he takes a pudding snack and say, "Oh, you know something? I'm gonna get the instant," and then he just throws it, and is that a red flag? And if so, how much of an alarm is that?
It's not enough for me to break up with him. It's not enough for me to stop dating him, but it's really something for me to pay attention to.
Okay,
Being who I am, I would go pick it up and go return it
mhm.
behind his back. But it's definitely something for me to pay attention to. And then again, because everybody have their own life experiences, and him leaving the Jello pack right there doesn't mean that he's a horrible person. I pick up the Jello pack because someone close to me worked in the grocery store and I know the struggle of them having to return stuff to where it is. Um, so yeah, I think your personal life experiences definitely influence your red flags and what you look for, but you also need to be lenient with them to acknowledge that not everybody has the same life experience as you did.
okay.
Right.
Let me give some red flags that I might be giving off to women.
And
Um,
I have to go soon. I have to go soon because I have to get on another call.
okay. There's just a couple. Um, so a guy, myself, when a homeless man asks for monies, I say no. if we were grocery shopping and they say, "Would you like to donate to such and such, to feed the starving children of such and such?" I say no. And and if a Girl Scout says, "Would you like some chocolate mint?" No, I do not. But I really need the money for camping. No. Are
Well,
these red flags?
To me, okay, so it depends because as I said, their life experiences indicates how you like the donating money part. Whenever I'm in Walmart will be like, if you want to donate to feed the hunger, I always hit no. However, Firestone always asks if you want to donate to the Boys and Girls Club. I always hit yes. Because I used to work at the Boys and Girls Club, I am I have some kind of connection with the Boys and Girls Club. I always hit yes. But if somebody was to judge me based on, oh, she's not hitting, she's not gonna feed the hunger, she's and judge me based off that, that will be a little unfair because then you have to know that I do donate to the Boys and Girls Club, and that matters. So as I say, I wouldn't consider it a red flag per se, and just be like, nah, I'm gonna stop date him because he hit no or doesn't didn't buy the Girl Scout cookies. I probably wouldn't either.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't find that a red flag at all.
Okay. So I don't give off red flags to most people. Yeah,
No.
okay. Or at least to you two. I don't know if I've given them off before. Like, this dude not buying no cookies. He don't care about their camping trip. Or yeah.
No, you're fine. But thank you so much, Chantel, for coming. I know you gotta go.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a really good conversation.
It really was my pleasure. And thanks for coming. And make sure you guys subscribe to Chantel. I put the link in the chat. So make sure everybody in here subscribe to her because she has some really good content on her channel.
Thank
Um,
you.
my pleasure. Anytime. GC, do you have any final thing to say to Chantel?
Oh well, to both of you, really, I'd like to see like the two of you collab, more often. I know Chantel was saying before with Nurse and Nerd that y'all were trying to get like a ladies coalition. I don't know what y'all call it, but I don't want to call it sisterhood, but let's say sorority, Latin for sisterhood.
What
I
happened
like
to
to
the
see. I like to hear the two of you together. Mixing what do you call it, soft accents. More often.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I know earlier Melody asked what direction I'm looking to bring my channel in. I am definitely looking to do more like panels, like
Ooh,
bringing different perspective on. I don't want it to just be me sitting there talking all the time, and that's why I haven't really been posting a lot because it's like I don't want to just be talking by myself. But yeah, definitely we can probably do something where we meet like once a week and discuss topics.
let's do it. And maybe we can do something on my channel as well, like that.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Or like alternate, like first, third, and second and fourth. I don't know. It's up to y'all.
No, yeah, I'm down for that. Definitely.
Yeah, I am too.
Sounds fun. But thank you again for coming. And this was a great show. Everybody, I'm going to say it again, subscribe to Chantelle Simone. But anyway, bye, guys.
Bye, and good
But,
talking to you, GC.
oh, good talking to you always, Chantel. And thanks for having me out, Melody.
My pleasure. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.